should wash my hands. I don't have time.
This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening and welcome to the August 4th meeting of the Board of Select People. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Select People. Do we have any minutes to sign?
Yes, we have July 21st, 2025. All were, no, I was absent.
Okay.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from July 21st.
I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, there are no additions to the agenda. And we have 2 minutes before the public hearing. What do you want to do, Steve?
Oh. Well, we can handle 5C quick, 5C, yeah. The order of taking in easements for Hickory Hill.
Okay.
Those just need to be endorsed by the select board. You would vote to approve and endorse the documents. I need one member of the select board not to sign and come to the Finnerty House so their signature can be notarized.
Okay.
So if you can decide amongst yourselves.
I can do it. What day do you want to do it?
That's fine with me. Hold on a minute. Is there any discussion on this? Okay. Do I hear a motion to endorse the order of taking Hickory Hill Subdivision?
I move we endorse the order of taking and grant of drainage easement for Hickory Hill Subdivision.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Did you say aye?
Okay. You can sign that. Okay.
Yeah.
It's 6:33, so I open the public hearing for alteration of premises, and this is Gold Big Koi LLC, otherwise known as Kansai. Steve, do you want to open this?
I'm just going to read the public hearing notice real quick. So
Okay.
notice is hereby given under Chapter 138 of the general laws that Gold Big Koi LLC, doing business as Kansai, 1 Main Street, Belchertown, Mass., has applied for an alteration of premises to convert the second floor into a banquet room for hosting larger parties and events. The public hearing relative to the above referenced application will be held on Monday, August 4th, 2025 at 6:33 p.m. in the Select Board's meeting room on the first floor of Lawrence Memorial Hall, 2 Jaber Street, Belchertown, Massachusetts. So for the record,
Steve?
that is the hearing notice. So as I just stated, we do have an application for an amendment to an existing liquor license. It's an alteration. The owners of Kansai want to have a group setting and from time to time some additional seating on the second floor. It's within their purview to request this license. They have been a good partner here in town. We haven't had any problems, and I would recommend that the board vote to approve this. But of course, this is a public hearing, so it's not about me. We should open it up to the floor.
Okay. What does the board think?
I would agree. Good.
Don't have any concerns concerns?
The concerns, I think it's a good thing for the town.
I do too. Are there any concerns from those attending? Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve the liquor license amendment for Gold Big Koi LLC, DBA Kansai, to include the second floor of their premises.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well, I will now close the public hearing. And now, we hear from Joanne.
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
I'm here tonight to provide you with an update from the Hampshire County Group Insurance Commission Trust.
You're all set? Yep.
Oh, yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you.
Keep doing great work.
So I'm here to provide you with an update from the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust. They had voted at the 7:30 Insurance Advisory Committee meeting that they had to increase the rates for premiums on the active plans by 20%. They were in a terrible situation financially. If this increase didn't go into effect, they were likely to become insolvable and we would be without health insurance August 31st. So it's a very unfortunate situation. I'll understand the extreme hardship this plays on staff. We have some retirees that are on these plans and also us as the employer. So the rates were set, the current rates that are in effect, that went into effect July 1st, were set back in January. And at that time, there was at least a $20 million reserve. And over the subsequent months, the claims came in very high, higher than what we were paying out. So we had to dip into those reserves, or higher than what we were receiving in premiums. And so we basically depleted that fund. We had over 100 claims of over $100,000 in that very short period of time, which typically it's about 30 to 35 for our group. And there's a subcommittee of the insurance trust, which is called the executive committee, and I'm a part of that, as well as I think 6 other units. And we've been monitoring this, but it came up very quickly because there's a delay or a lag for when we get the claim, actual claim history. So we were talking and discussing the likelihood of an increase, but we had no idea it was going to need to be at 20%. And it came very quickly, like within a month and a half. So we plan to move forward with the 20% increase, and then I think we will be looking at what other options are available. I think the trust is going to be looking at what other options are available. But that's where we're at this point.
So what does that translate into dollars? When you say 20%, I mean, what?
So I have that. The total cost to the town is $911,000. That breaks down to $241,124 on the town side and $656,352 for the schools.
But that's employer money, correct?
Yes. And then there's some enterprise funds that also have employees involved with them, which that comes out of the fees, so that doesn't impact their tax base or our general operating budgets.
Are the 100 large losses specific to Belchertown or all 73 communities?
Trust-wide,
Okay. And what's the individual stop loss?
400,000.
400? Okay.
I didn't hear, was it all towns or Belchertown?
All towns.
All towns.
All the towns. We have 73 units
Yeah.
in the trust, and they can range from, well, we're one of the 3 largest units, but then it can range down to small units that are 3 or 5 people. That's part of the 73
So
units.
the reinsurer doesn't kick in and start covering any individual's claim until they've incurred $400,000 in that plan year. So if you've got somebody at 100,000, the town is on the hook for that money.
Right. The trust is a self-insured product, so we all pay in a premium to the trust, and then the trust uses that money to pay for the claims dollar for dollar. So we're not bringing in enough money based on our current premiums to pay those claims, basically.
So you're saying there, I just want to make sure I get the numbers. It's 21 communities? How many?
73 communities.
70 units.
So
They call it units.
Yeah.
Okay, and so a unit is a community?
It could be a community, it could be a water district or fire district.
Okay.
It could be a
So we
water,
could have-
electric
And
utility.
so we have 3 units, is that right?
We are one.
We
We're
are one.
considered
And
one
s-
of the 73.
Okay, and so, what are other units, how are they addressing it? Has there been any,
There's been a lot of outcry about the fact that this is going to be very difficult for communities. They're looking at having to make cuts. Some communities are able to absorb it because they're small. They have a small number of people in there. It's a big concern.
and Joanne, I don't expect you to know everything, it's more just, that's a lot, and so the first thing I'm thinking is, well, okay, this is major,
Yes.
how are communities, what have we heard?
Yeah, I can answer that.
Okay.
So let me back up just a little bit, though. The Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust has 73 different units. There's over 4,000 employees that are subscribing.
Okay,
There's over 12,000 covered participants. That's family members and employees and everything else. So this is a major issue.
so this is affecting 12,000 people.
Yes. Our legislators are aware of this. I've been in contact with Aaron Saunders several times. There's not a lot of assistance at this point or even a path forward. What I can tell you is that the state health insurance plan, the GIC, received a $240 million bailout this year. So it's not just the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust. I don't know if we're going to see any type of a bailout from our legislators. Joanne and I, back in January, December, were notified of an 18% increase on HMOs, 20% on PPOs. At that point, there was talk that that would be enough to carry us through and get us through the fiscal year at a minimum, and hopefully that would get us out of the dark times. As Joanne stated, things evolved very quickly. Belchertown has 328 employees currently subscribing. Another 20% on top of that is going to be upwards to $490,000 out of their pockets, let alone what we have to pay. So the impacts are widespread. And as of right now, there's probably 3 options that are in front of us. There may be more in the future. I don't know yet. The first would be we go back to the taxpayers and we take it out of the stabilization fund. We can wait until free cash is certified. In January, go back to the taxpayers at town meeting and transfer free cash to cover the deficit. Or we can start positioning now to make cuts. I don't know if we're going to have any other options or any other relief. I'm hoping that we'll hear something, but I would suggest it's unlikely because we're already into the state budget, and it's not easy just to start doling out cash to communities that need it. So I think we're on our own, and I think it's going to be the topic for the tri-board meeting that we have scheduled this September. we need to have a path forward. And hopefully by then, we'll have some answers from the state. But I think that's gonna be our best opportunity for the future to make that plan. We have the finance committee, the select board, and the school committee all in one room on that night in the auditorium. This wasn't going to be our topic, but it certainly needs to be now. And I've talked to Brian about this, and I know he's very concerned, I'm concerned, not only for this current budget, but with the override that we just passed, we expected next budget season to be somewhat smooth, relatively smooth. I don't know if any of them will be smooth, but certainly we didn't think we'd be having the struggles that we had last year. And this is about a third of what we received in an override. So it's a devastating hit to our budgets, and it's going to affect everybody and every decision we make going forward.
I just want to assure the townspeople that this wasn't the town of Belchertown, the select board, finance committee, school committees. It wasn't planned for. So I just want to make sure the residents know and the taxpayers know this is not our fault.
Yeah. I want to end with the most important point. Well, 2 points. One is we need to be concerned about our employees to make sure they're whole. They rely on their health insurance, and I want to make sure that they have health insurance. But probably the most important point to make is that Joanne and I have evaluated the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust rates versus other rates on other plans, and we are still either more affordable or within the same range as Southeastern Health Group, Scantic Valley, Berkshire Health Group, the GIC, and I don't remember what this other one was, WSHG. But
Well, that said, and, you know I should be grateful. My concern is we just went to the taxpayers. The override passed, but only by 21 votes. I fear that if we go back to the taxpayers again, we won't get the answer we want. I mean, everyone's pressed. I think that's why I'm asking, okay, how are other municipalities, units, whatever, how are others, what are they doing? Can we take a page? Has there been a thought about convening some of these units that are nearby and talking, about, what they're thinking? Or is there anything that says this is what other people are doing?
I think everybody's in the same boat that we're in. They're finding a way to fund it. We have a very good plan. I don't know if that plan is going to change going into the future. But when our rates are similar to all the other programs that are out there, there's not a lot of options, and that's what we've run into. We're working with a broker to help advise us. They're advising us to stay put. The plan, it's a good plan, and it's market competitive. It's not something that they foresee us saving a bunch of money with.
I just want to also say there's nobody on this board, and I can say that without doing a vote, that wants to see town employees lose their health insurance. It's how do we balance this?
And I think at this point, the only reason we would leave the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust is if they folded and we're no longer providing insurance, because moving is going to cost us more.
What's the likelihood of them upping the rates yet again? We already went up 48% in less than 6 months, so it's likely that it's not going to go up
It's gonna
further.
happen. It's happening nationwide. I mean, this isn't just us. This is everywhere.
There was a comment made earlier that Blue Cross Blue Shield has seen some big increases as well. So it's not just us.
We don't know if they're going to go up again. Do you have any insight?
We'll know, we'll probably know a little bit more once the July claims are tallied. I think that's,
we're told that there's ebbs and flows, you know, there's peaks and valleys. We're at the peak, but we keep climbing that peak. So we're hoping that we start reaching a valley, things start to calm down. You can't predict that. It's like,
Can I ask
you can't.
Joanne a question?
So for October 1st, the GLP-1 drugs are no longer going to be on the formulary. That's part of this. It's not all of it, though. I mean, there's still, and I know I've shared this with you before, 3 months of reserves is borderline derelict. And I understand it was the IAC that said this is all we want because that's what their unions want, but no carrier out there would ever have 6 months of reserves. You need over a year's worth of reserves. So as somebody on the executive committee, I would like beg you to go back and make that clear to them the next time that you meet, but also plan design is really important here. Yes, your rates are really competitive for the plan design that you have, but, and we've talked about this too, there's so much room to increase the deductible, have the employer fund the tail end of the deductible, everybody's rates go down and the employees get to keep a low deductible plan. And that too, I mean, the fact that that was never looked at, and I'm not blaming this on you, I know it was the IAC that voted against that, but that's the kind of stuff that has to be looked at. So moving forward, there are options and they're within the trust itself. I wouldn't recommend that you leave the trust because the rates are just so good, but like it's just not sustainable to keep going. But I feel like moving forward, it sounds like we have free cash, reserves, or cuts. So if we do free cash, that's majority at town meeting, but reserves is 2/3 vote.
Correct.
Okay, so free cash would be more, would be easier to pass.
The problem with free cash is we have no idea what we'll get.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Do we
that's-
have an assumption of what is coming in for free cash?
I mean, based on the last few years, we'd be looking at $1.5 million roughly, but that's, you never know.
It's a gamble.
And we've got
It's a huge gamble.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Well, we've also made policies about
Yeah.
free cash.
And how to spend it, correct?
Yeah.
I guess I would like to hear from Mr. Cameron, like the
Yeah.
effects. If you have a question, sorry.
I just had a question for Joanne. This is the rumor that I'm hearing, I'm not really sure. What if some of those units get out of the trust? So we go from 73 to 68. Will that impact the rest of the units getting a larger increase?
No, no.
So Belchertown could drop out or do something else, and Hadley wouldn't have to pick up our 20%.
No,
No,
the
okay.
runout claims follow the community that leaves
That's-
for 18 months.
Okay, okay.
But what could happen is, let's say a community bails and they had a lot of healthy claims,
Yeah,
that pool just got smaller,
Right.
and you
Okay.
lost a lot of healthy claimants.
okay, makes sense.
We should clarify the run out though too. So if we were to leave the trust and there are still claims processing that we haven't been billed for, or the trust hasn't been billed for, and we leave the trust, that is the town's responsibility to pay.
Just for clarification, that's why we're not even discussing leaving, right? Because there are too many claims that need to be paid out.
That, it's a combination, that and also the different joint purchasing groups that, similar to the trust, like Maya or the GIC, Scantic Valley, they're closed so that they won't allow new membership. It's like once a year that they would allow that, so we won't have that opportunity. And then the only other option, well, the GIC is a separate, they even have a stricter guide, but then we would have fully insured and then self-insured options. But again, we wouldn't be able, the likelihood would be so low that we could get something similar to our plan at the cost that we're paying.
So
It
in your,
doesn't make sense to look.
in your packet, there's a sheet with all the rates on it, so you can kind of see. And this was sent to all the employees.
What is the plan if it goes bankrupt, I guess? If it goes up another 20%, the trust folds and there's not enough money, is there a contingency plan for the residents and the employees? I guess
We're gonna have to work with our broker and
Right.
go out to bid quickly.
we can't do that, like, would it, go to like open season, the state would pick us up. I'm just trying to make
Well,
sure
that's,
employees are covered, so
that's
they're
why we've been
reassured.
talking to our legislators, to make sure that we have a safety net somewhere, yeah.
I have a more immediate concern, and that is simply what happens on September 1st.
We're fine at this point.
Okay, so
They're,
everybody
they're,
has
they're,
insurance?
they have, everyone, all the units have agreed to, pay the increased premium, and they're anticipating that the increase in premium will help keep us sustainable.
Steve, what did you say you thought the free cash was? 1.5 maybe?
Well, that's the average of the last couple of years, but I,
So that would leave us maybe like a couple $100,000 to do our splits that we
mhm.
agreed upon.
500 and some change.
Lisa, could I ask you a point of order
Yes,
question?
yes.
You had said you didn't wanna go back to the town payers, but no matter what, or the town residents, the taxpayers, no matter what we do have to have a special town meeting about it. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yeah.
But not
I
an
am
election.
just speaking out.
No,
I'm
you
just
just
like
said you didn't wanna go back to that, and I
worrying
thought.
aloud.
No, I just wanted to
Okay.
confirm that.
Yes.
Thank you.
My math is off. So 1.4 million is the 20% increase. 1.5 is
The employees are
expected-
responsible for 30%.
Okay, all right, so that's where you're getting 500, okay. So we would have 500,000 to do our free cash policy, okay.
I'm
Do
just
you want
wondering
my
Nope,
calculator?
I got it. It makes sense now, thank you.
if we get 1.5.
All right, well, I don't think we're gonna solve it tonight. I think we are gonna, oh, Brian, did you have something?
I just wanted to answer John's question.
Oh,
So it's
please.
about a $700,000 cut to the schools.
So we're back to square
So,
one.
So we're back to
56,
where we were,
352.
and I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but that's people who broke it.
That's if we cut and not do free cash, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's just for this, because we have to fund it for, the 911 is for FY '25. We haven't even talked about FY '26.
Yeah, it would absorb most of our new growth.
Gotcha.
So I would
Okay.
recommend that we get buy-in from FinCom. Or,
well,
not buy-in,
yeah.
but advice from
well,
FinCom.
and honestly, that's what where I was going. It's like, I don't think we're gonna solve it tonight. I think there's gonna be the work of the tri-meeting that we have. That doesn't mean we have to stop talking about it, but I think we need the other players weighing in on this.
May I ask one more question?
Yeah.
So does that mean that we would reduce staffing come October 1st? If you and I have to make cuts?
I think that's gonna be the topic for September.
I'm sorry.
That'll be the topic at the tri-board meeting.
At the tri-board meeting.
Well, we start August 20th.
No,
Haven't we said that there's enough money that we don't need to worry about that at this time?
the longer we delay, if cuts are the plan, the longer we delay, the deeper we'll go into that budget. So there will be a deficit at some point that will have to be covered, yes.
We're early enough in the year, we can cover it.
Right,
Right.
yes.
Well,
So
I
we
mean,
would make it
the
the
tri-board meeting is what, September, what is it, 8th? So,
Maybe that's too far away. Do we need to try to meet sooner?
I was thinking about that, if we have to make cuts, it'd be better to let the employees know sooner than later.
They have been notified.
But cuts
Their
wise,
costs
Oh.
increases,
good.
sorry, yeah.
we're not doing a service to them by
No.
delaying talks.
Steve,
I
can we
guess.
wait until September 8th, or do we need to convene an emergency meeting and everybody clear the decks and come to the meeting?
I mean, what's your reaction time, Brian? Even if you had an answer towards the end of August, would you,
I guess my question might be for Joanne, lucky for Joanne. We're gonna bring people on that we're just gonna lay off, so then we have to pay unemployment and stuff of that nature, so is there, we're gonna pay that cost rather than if we knew sooner, we wouldn't be filling the positions?
Well,
Is it a,
I think but should we meet earlier is the,
well, I've already said we start August 28th,
okay.
so, 25th, so my vote would be yes, but I'm only speaking to the schools.
Before that happened, we needed a town meeting too, right?
Well, if the decision is made to use free cash or stabilization, it's a roll of the dice.
It is.
So we wouldn't know. I mean, that doesn't impact people's tax bills. That's money that was either set aside for a rainy day or, increased revenues that we didn't account for or whatever. So it's probably an easier sell to say we're using reserves to cover this.
How much is in the stabilization?
2.6, I think.
It's a huge hit,
Yeah.
huge hit. It's really bad.
Fully
I'm just
aware.
Just so people know, that would be really bad for our credit rating.
Just to clarify, the 9/11, that's from fiscal 25, is that what we were saying? This is not
No.
even.
Yeah.
This is 9 months.
This is
No,
the current
this-
budget that we're in right now.
Right.
This started 1 July.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that you all spoke at once. Sorry, the $911,000 that we are responsible for as a town, that is to take care of the fiscal 25 deficit that we owe, or is that for fiscal 26 benefits?
We're in FY '26.
I know, but I heard
Yes.
someone say fiscal 25.
No. It's FY '26 deficit that will result from the October 1st, so 9 months of the budget.
I'm on
So they're
fiscal
saying
year
that'll carry us
26.
through
Through
June
year,
30th.
right.
Okay,
Correct.
2026.
Correct.
Okay.
But I thought you said that the longer we wait, the worse it'll get.
We're gonna start spending our budget now, as of October 1st, on the 20% increase.
Okay.
The longer we go into the fiscal year, the more money we're taking out of that line item. So we'll have a bigger hole to fill if we decide on
Over
cuts.
budget starting in
Right.
October.
Right.
Do you have an approximate month where, once you start dipping into the operating budget, that's it, you've run out? Do you know where that
That's kind of what
attachment point
yeah,
is?
That's what I want to
No,
know too.
no, I don't know. I don't know that.
So I'm back to, do we need to convene an emergent meeting? Brian says yes.
We can do that, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, it's gonna have to be in the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
Okay.
Can your office try to get everybody together?
We can certainly do that. I know it was a struggle.
I know it is too,
I
and
think-
we still
yeah.
have the 8th. Let's all keep the 8th.
What's the 8th? That's a Friday.
September 8th.
September 8th.
Yeah.
September 8th.
September
Yeah, we can
8th.
keep that one on the books. I think the joint leadership meeting, we're gonna cancel. Because there's no sense in trying to jam that in as well. So I think at this point, we'll just work on this.
Joanne, do you have to work at a certain place before you get unemployment for a certain amount of months?
I wanna say it's like 3 months, yes. Otherwise, I mean, it wouldn't be billed to the town, it would go back to their previous employer.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
How long is the tri-board meeting? It's like 3 hours?
If we're just talking about this one subject,
As
Oh,
long as it's
I think
paid.
we're gonna be talking
It
for a
could be.
while.
yeah.
I think you
yeah.
just gotta pick a date and
Yep.
all of us that can come.
Yeah, and to that point, to give us enough time to talk about it. So I don't know if it'd be better to do it on the weekend, or, I don't know. I just want to make sure we have enough time so that everybody can weigh in.
Yeah, we can send a doodle poll out. We need 48 hours notice so we can start,
Okay,
potentially, well, this, yeah, we'll start right away. Yeah, I can talk to you about it later.
yeah, and we can talk about times, maybe that we can,
I mean, I
Have
think you
a
gotta
little
start by
mini-meeting.
5:30 if it's a weeknight.
excuse me?
You gotta start by 5:30 if it's a weeknight to give us enough time. Or you could
Well,
exercise.
I'll talk with
But
you
all
guys
that's
over there.
doable.
Okay. Well, this is sobering. Any other comments before we move on?
Well, thanks, Joanne.
Yeah, you have any other good news? No, thank you, Joanne. Anybody else?
The only other thing I'm thinking is just, I don't know if it's appropriate, but it might be helpful for me to see what were the other options that we've considered in the past. I keep hearing this is such a great plan, I believe you, but would it be helpful to see the other is this?
Those are the other
Oh.
companies.
I'm sorry.
Are you
It's a
talking about
comparison chart.
plan designs?
Maybe, but I don't understand that stuff very well, so I don't know if that would be useful as a board for us to look at. That might be more appropriate just sitting with you and your
Sure.
team.
Sure.
But I think, and I dare say, I think Nicole has more understanding of these things than us, just because of the nature of your professional role. So it could be helpful, maybe.
There was two things. So you're gonna allow, I saw something to the employees that you're gonna allow anybody on the PPO to transfer to HMO to save some money. Do we know, and I know I should know the answer to this and I don't, can this large increase to somebody's premium, does that create a qualifying event for them to leave town coverage and move over to spouse?
I heard one employee say that it was for their spouse.
Okay.
We would allow them to come off our plan. They can
Right,
pick up
you don't,
coverage.
yeah, I'm worried
They can
about
pick
the
up
other
coverage,
employers, are
right.
they gonna allow them to come on, and I
Right.
don't really know the answer to that.
The good thing is it kind of coincides with the private sector world of open enrollments for January 1.
That's right, yeah.
So,
Okay. Thank you. I'm aware there are a lot of people here. Does the board mind if I check in with why folks are here and if we can move those up? That we do that before we get into goals? And anyone who's here just to be entertained by this group, no pressure, just hang out. Brian, I'm
I'm
sure
just
you're
here
here
to be
for a
entertained.
reason.
Fine with you. You know. I know she's here for the parking lot.
Yep,
Okay.
Belchertown High School class of 2029 has requested the use of the parking lot, the town hall parking lot,
That's on the agenda.
for their fair.
5D.
That's on the agenda.
Yes.
Lisa, are you suggesting a session for public comment right now? Is that what you're thinking?
No,
Okay.
no, I want to move, if there are things and people don't want to stay for the whole thing,
Got it.
you know, just kind of move it up. Okay, so this is for request to use the town hall parking lot during fair weekend.
Thank you, George.
That sounds like something that you would handle.
Well, the select board voted on this last year.
Okay,
It was a topic that the board took up.
what is your recommendation?
So we have 3 requests this year. Last year, we had 1 from the Mill Valley Snowmobile Club. The select board voted to allow the Mill Valley Snowmobile Club to park cars in the town hall parking lot
Well, that's
for,
right.
for the fair weekend. We have 3 requests this year. 1 from the fair committee. Last year, that was rolled into the Mill Valley Snowmobile Clubs. This year, it's a separate request. That's for the lower lot only. We have the Mill Valley Snowmobile Club that also is requesting use of the town hall parking lot, as well as the junior class. So historically, we had the Mill Valley Snowmobile Club parking cars in the upper parking lot, and the school department was parking cars in the lower parking lot, which used to be a manufacturing facility, and then it was a church building for a while. The town bought it. When the town reconstructed the parking lot, that area was off limits, so the school department's use of it was tabled. The fair committee was parking at a private property on Park Street, and everything worked out for a couple of years. We also had COVID time, so there was a few years of no parking going on. Since then, the fair committee has lost use of the Park Street property, so they need to have the lower parking lot.
Is this the lower parking lot over
Yeah,
here?
the Everett Avenue side parking lot is what we call the lower parking lot. So they need to have that for their volunteers, staff, the paid employees, you know, that work for the fair committee, fair operator.
Sure.
So that's off limits. So now we have 2 organizations looking to use the town hall parking lot. The Mill Valley Snowmobile Club has always used this parking lot. They've managed it from Friday at noontime through the end of the fair. Monday mornings, they clean up the common. They show up with their leaf blowers and rakes, and they blow all the trash off the common. And the money that they raise, they've used to maintain our trails. because they also use those trails in the winter for snowmobile activities. Not that we've had any snow in the last few years, but that's what they use it for. So it's a very difficult decision to make, because on one hand, we have a town organization that's looking for fundraising opportunities, and on the other hand, we have a group that's had a 20 or 30-year history parking cars in this parking lot. So unfortunately, for me, if I had to make a recommendation, I would make the recommendation to give access back to the Mill Valley Snowmobile Club to allow continuity in their operations. So that's my recommendation.
I have a question. Where does the freshman class, do they park anywhere right now?
No.
Okay, so this is a new endeavor for them?
It's a renewed endeavor, yeah. I think it's been 5 years or so since they've been able to park cars.
The class of 2022 parked cars over on Everett Ave in that lower lot. 20 years ago, the Belchertown High School classes used the town hall parking lot. And I don't know, I put in the request thinking that the school is part of the town and that we would give our money to an entity of the town instead of giving it away to an outside organization, which is still in town, but not a town entity.
I'm just gonna ask, so what would you be doing?
Parking cars,
Okay,
using
And-
appropriate signage.
okay, and is this just altruistic? That you just, like,
Oh, was you use the money for it? It is in my
yes.
I sent a proposal to Steve.
Yeah, it's in your
at the end
packet.
of the year.
Yeah,
So
but I wanna hear
they're
from
using
you.
that for class activities. It's very difficult not being a, we don't have a PTO at the high school, so
Okay.
we're not allowed to do as many things as these other organizations are allowed to do. So we can't, just hold certain types of fundraisers. We can't have an auction, we can't have a dinner, we can't hold a raffle or anything like that because the class is technically considered not a nonprofit because it's part of the school and the town.
Okay. So this would be to raise money for the school
The class.
or the class?
Fees, class field trips.
Yep.
All those things cost a lot of money and, it would go to all the students in that grade.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason why I'm asking you this is there are people who, like me, don't have that da-da-da history. And so, we have to, say it out loud, be proud.
And I've definitely talked to some parents and they're willing to come and help volunteer and clean up the common with their leaf blowers and rakes and do their part as well.
Okay.
So,
Years ago, the seniors actually used to come and clean up the common when we were in school. So, pick it up and clean it up.
I can give fair history, because I've been involved with the fair for over 40 years.
Yes.
Yeah, I think people know I'm Cindy Brown. And I was one of those seniors who did those things, and I was also part of the Mill Valley Snowmobile Club 40 years ago that ran the parade and did the parking lot.
Mhm.
The Mill Valley Snowmobile Club has done a lot of things, and they have been a really great partner for this. It seems like an easy thing to park the cars, but as anybody who has been back there knows, we are inundated from Friday morning until Sunday night, and they run pretty much ragged all weekend long. And it's not only a matter of parking the cars, it's a safety issue to make sure that everything is all set. The lighting now is going to make it much better and all of that, but it's still a safety issue. And on the flip side of that, Steve can attest to, it's no small feat to clean that common when we clear out on Sunday night. And the rule is that the only thing that's left when we clear out are the tents and the amusement vendor. The amusement vendor has to be off the common by 6 o'clock in the morning. Those people are on that common when it's still dark, cleaning up so that the town guys can go and get it all cleaned up so that when people go by at 9 o'clock in the morning, they hardly know what's happened there. I think they have been a great partner to us. I think it would be a disservice to take it away from them. And I think that people underestimate the amount of work that gets involved with the amount of time that gets spent all weekend long, from 8 o'clock, from all day Friday till 10:30 at night on Friday, from 8 o'clock in the morning, because it's a staging area for the parade, until 10:30 at night on Saturday. And people are still out roaming, doing that stuff. I think there are a lot of opportunities for kids to raise money. I see it everywhere else on the common, and there might be an easier way to figure that out.
Thank you. Thank you for speaking up.
The 3 requests that I mentioned earlier are in your packet. They start on page 30. Starts with the Mill Valley Snowmobile Club, the fair committees, and on page 34 is the school proposal.
Go ahead. Please.
I would agree, the Mill Valley Snowmobile Club has been a terrific partner all of these years. As somebody who uses and benefits from the trail work that they do on our community trails that everyone is able to use, I feel like it's a better partnership.
I think that's a good point, Jimmy, because those trails are used all summer long.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Okay. I mean, I'm, what do you think, John?
I'm all about tradition. I've been coming to the fair 40 years old. I lived in this town my whole life.
Yeah.
I'm traditional. I'm known the Snowmobile Club, and back in Herbie Squires used to be part of it. He was a select board member here too. I think they do a great job. I don't think the students are going to be able to take Monday off and go blow off the fair, comment, and do all that stuff. There's school the next day. I feel for the students, but that's not realistic. The Snowmobile Club has proven.
There's parents, I said, they're involved with that.
Yeah, but even the day of work and everything, they have work. These guys are already committed and they're already planning for it this year. Like, they have a plan already in place. It's proven, it works. I mean, I'm not sure if there's another avenue. I don't know who does center school, who parks cars there.
You know, I don't know. It is what it is, but I just find it a little ironic that words are being brought out that the snowmobile is a better partner than the schools and that parents shouldn't be taking time off. I'm okay with whoever gets it. I don't want a conflict between the two, but that's pretty telling, the words that we're hearing from the select board about, you know, we try to get parent involvement. That's what it's about. Partnership, a better partnership. That's like, I'm just.
Well, Brian, I don't know. I don't think that, what I'm hearing is a point by point what this partnership has done in the past. I'm not hearing so much, okay, well, point for point, this is what we're gonna do, and this is why you're in good hands, and, you know, it, not only are we gonna do all of that, but, you know, here's the extra,
But you can't create a partnership if you just keep doing the same thing over and over. And that's not saying they shouldn't get it. I'm just saying that. It's, you know, when do we have change? And
well, maybe when you come to the board with a full proposal that goes, well, no, I know you have this, but literally go point by point, saying it's gonna be exactly the same. There's a comfort level in that.
I don't know, it was very detailed, that proposal that I put together, very detailed. I don't know, I mean, I just find it strange as a taxpayer that the town is giving this money to an outside organization instead of its own organization within the town.
But they maintain our trails. Like that,
So
for me,
they benefit from that.
for me, it's not about the schools versus,
Yeah.
This benefits the community entire, not
It's
just
the trail
one
system.
class. So that is my point of view for this
Actually,
conversation.
and we get complaints about, you know, when the trails are not maintained, and, you know, there's a lot of finger pointing on that. It's just,
Like a tree
anyway.
falls down and it's gone.
Yeah.
Like it literally is gone because somebody is paying attention and they're cleaning up the trails. So, I mean, for me, that's my point of view. That's just my opinion.
I have a question. Brian, who is parking at central office? Like who runs it?
one of the other classes, student council.
I mean, how many parking lots do the school groups get?
I only know about central office.
Because I know the football club does like over at the post office. I mean, I personally have parked cars in a lot, and it's a lot of work.
I think my opinion's gonna be unpopular, so I've been holding it, but, we are in very tight financial times. Everyone is fighting for resources. I understand there's a lot of history. I think that it's time for us to look at this. There's no way for us to equitably give people access to space in a way to raise revenue and then just choose, well, they've had it forever, or this person wants it because they can't have a PTO. I don't think these are fair ways to consider who gets access to thousands of dollars.
That's true.
So I don't think we can make a decision on this tonight. I think this is something we need to review. It should be an equitable process. We should make it very clear how you can raise money for your organization through the fair. Maybe it's an application process every year. I said it's not gonna be popular, but it's not equitable right now, the way we're doing it, in my opinion.
Can we, I don't even know, like, how do we know who's doing all the different parking lots up and down Main Street?
I don't know how you manage that.
Only
Because there's
ones-
all of those, and then there's all the booths that are inside the fair on the grounds.
Well, I think,
Cindy, do you know?
This is an annual process, and that's, we had a request come in last year, the board voted on it. So I think that part's covered. I don't know how we would determine what town groups are,
What if it was just a submission date by, July 1st, you need to submit that you'd like to be considered for a parking lot or for a booth?
Well, they pay for booths, right? They pay for them.
yeah.
It's already taken care of.
You know what I mean, though? So wait, so you have to pay for a
I
booth?
have about 1,000 feet of booth space. The youth have a much preferred rate at $50 a 10-foot spot as opposed to an adult profit at $200. I make every effort all the way up until the week before the fair to have space for any kids group that wants to come on. And most times I have to chase those kids because of whether it's the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the churches, the classes, everybody's got a new idea, everybody's got a new advisor, and they wake up on August 31st and say, oh my God, the fair's coming in 2 weeks, and yet I make space for them. So that part is taken care of. The interesting phenomenon is that once that happens, what I see is very rarely do I see kids doing the work. I see parents doing the work. So, I mean, depending on what you want to do, what you want to teach the kids, that's an issue. But don't worry about the vendor space on the common. They have every opportunity to do that. In fact, one of the classes has 2 booths this year.
So to get back to your question, Whitney, we had, the Snowmobile Club submitted June 27th of this year. Fair Committee, June 26th of this year. And Liz, on behalf of the junior class, submitted her parking plan October of last year, right after the fair ended. So we have been holding that for quite a while.
Okay.
Understood. But there was all of this was in by the end of June.
There's no formal application process, though. They just knew to write to you.
Right. We only have one town-managed parking lot that we allow people to park cars in. The rest are under the school's purview. I don't know if they have a policy on how they manage requests or if it's just tradition. So everything is in your packet. I don't think we can kick the can down the road because the fair's a month away, 6 weeks away, and I think people need to know what they're planning on doing this year because they have to line up their volunteers, their schedules, they have to get their equipment in place. So I don't think we have the luxury of time. I don't know.
Maybe we can tighten it up next year.
Cindy, who would be parking in the lower lot? Just the core fair committee or every single volunteer?
Volunteers, a lot of the entertainers get parking, like a band comes in, they've got 4 cars with all that stuff. So it's kind of a revolving thing. That also has to be managed. Because we tell them how many, Sean does that part, how many parking passes we need, if it's gonna be for all day, if it's gonna be for a, limited block. And we actually pay for that. I mean, everything that we do, we pay for, so.
Can we split the parking lot? Would they be willing to
That's where I
work
was
together
going.
and meet in the middle, and Mill Valley and the freshman class split the parking lot?
I mean, how many spots are we talking about?
Yeah.
The upper
Like
lot
they
doesn't
work
have
together,
that
split
many.
the profits?
I don't know, I mean, that's fine, I will put whatever.
They're both in the room. Mill Valley, we haven't heard from you. Sorry.
I'm the treasurer for the Mill Valley Snowmobile Club. And yes, we have worked it for many years. We also give back to the town in a lot of ways. With our trail work that we do, we maintain all those trails starting the end of September right through. And it isn't just for the snowmobiles. Walkers, there's horses that go on it, there's a wide range of people that ride their bicycles on these trails. We do it as part of the community and trying to give back as well. It's why we take and use our own equipment and everything when we clean off the common early in the morning. The town doesn't have to do that. We're giving back to the town. Splitting it, we split it last year with the fair committee. We assisted them, we assist them in doing that. I don't know how we could do it with a third party as well into the larger section.
It feels chaotic.
Yes, it would be extremely chaotic. And who would end up doing all the work, you know? I don't know how many volunteers you would be able to have to do the parking. Whether your parents, are your students going to be
Yes, the students
helping?
will be involved, parents will be involved, teachers, faculty, staff. I don't know, we've run the Everett Ave lot, Cory checked volunteers. The funds that we make from that lot are going where? Like, where is that $7,000-8,000 you're making?
We don't make anything like $7,000.
When we did the Everett Ave lot, in one weekend, we made $2,000. So that's a smaller section of that years ago. So
You
this
don't have,
trail
like, you
cleanup,
don't have
you're
a,
technically getting paid for, and this common cleanup,
Yeah.
that's going back to the community by paying the.
No, we also do all the trail work.
That-
Okay, all right. So,
I don't
John,
know this, I'm not
John,
talking about it.
you were talking about splitting the parking lot, right? If you were trying to split it, where would you split it?
I was just talking about splitting the total fees. Everyone volunteers, and I was just
Oh,
throwing
yeah,
options
like
out
put
there.
it like combining
Combine the groups and
into
split
one
the
group
profit.
and then having like one pool of volunteers and
one
then
pool of volunteers.
dividing up the money.
Yep.
That's an interesting.
I was
idea.
just trying to meet in the middle somewhere.
That's what I did. That's what I did. I've never heard from anybody.
Just
Or
split
when you said splitting, I thought you were talking about
No, just
splitting the lots.
split the profit and
Because you can split between the Everett Ave lot and behind the town hall lot real easily, right? Splitting the town hall lot,
No, you're talking the lower lot,
yeah.
that's already the fair.
Yeah.
We had that.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, like, do they really don't use the whole lot the
Yes,
whole
they
time?
do.
Well,
They did last year, a whole
Yeah.
chunk. a
well,
lot of
we parked cars over there, some cars, didn't we?
Not that many
Not
down
that
in
many,
that
no.
section. That was all mostly kept for that.
Could I make a suggestion?
I don't know if it's, I don't know if it's taken, if you think the Everett Ave side and split it.
I think
Throwing stuff
I think
along
Steve
there.
really has a point that we have 6 weeks. I think Whitney has a point as well, that, could this be something that we take up, and in the meantime, that the different players work together, fair, as well as snowmobile and schools? Is there a way, is there a plan that where everybody wins? I keep looking over and all I see is like, I'm checked out.
I'm not
And it's
really
like, I'm
disappointed.
hearing ideas where people are trying to make room. And that should be, like, yay, this is good, this is like how we get somewhere. But I do think that perhaps getting together with the different players and making sure that everyone's needs are met is the way to go for next year. And it would be up to you to make sure that happens, and with Steve, you know? I feel like that would, I mean, you know what? I want everybody to win. I think we all do, you know? I don't think that it's a great feeling when, you know, you feel like the schools are, you know, fighting for something that the snowmobile club is also fighting for, and the fair's trying to get their thing going. I don't want to be in the position of being a referee. Like, I do think this could be worked out, but I think for this year, we need to come to a consensus. That may or may not be to everybody's liking, but I hope you hear my sincerity, that I want everybody to get a piece. So with that said, unless anyone else has anything to say, I mean, my recommendation is to go with the town manager's recommendation for this year, and ask that the different parties work together and see if there's a way that we can make room for the schools as well. Is that fair?
Is there any way you could physically put up barriers to split the parking lot? There's two entrances and exits, right? The library and then the one over
Right.
here.
And I'm just thinking, yes, that's what needs to be discussed, and a plan should be brought together for the board to then look at, so that we can hopefully bring everybody back here and everyone feels like they got their needs met, as much as is humanly possible. Is that okay?
Yeah, my only question is it sounds like there's lots of booth space. Is there time still to submit applications for booths?
Absolutely.
Okay, so there's that.
We're always looking for new things. Last year, one of the classes did a thing that was called the human slot machine. It was a great booth. They're coming back this year.
Okay, great. All right, so do I hear a motion of any kind?
I make a motion that we allow the fair to use the lower lot and the Mill Valley Snowmobile Club to use the upper lot for the fair this year, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So please work together for next year. Thank you. Anybody else here for any other thing? Okay. So, we're at goals and objectives.
Do you want to do food truck vendors before we
What?
do you want to do food truck vendors before we
Oh,
Yeah, we
is
should
food
keep
truck-
track of all of our action items.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I couldn't hear you.
She could
There's
do
a lot
the
of
rest
chatter.
Stuff and do goal to objective last.
I think that's a good plan.
Is that cool?
No, I don't wanna do that, cause we're gonna be here until midnight. So, but I will do the food truck vendors. Is there anybody here for food truck vendors? That discussion?
No.
All right, then let's just go into goals.
You want to do food truck vendors after goals?
Excuse me?
We're doing food truck.
No, we're just going back to A.
We're gonna go back to A.
Okay.
So, goals and objectives. This is a continued discussion of the meeting that we had yesterday. And for anyone who hasn't seen it, please take a listen, and that should be up in the next couple of days. And so we got through 3 of the goals. We have 3 more to discuss. And so with that, I will open it up to the board.
Steve, can you give me sharing rights if you haven't already?
You should be all set.
yesterday.
You have to make her an organizer, and then she shares her screen.
Well, I just sent her a share screen.
No, you should be able to do it. If you're an organizer, you should be able to share your screen, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to, I just don't see,
I sent her, I did the
Oh.
make presenter. So,
Sorry. I'll stay out of it.
yeah. So you should, I mean, I can make you an organizer and see if that helps.
come help me, Jen.
Okay, you're now an organizer, so.
Okay, let me try it again then. So share
You
screen.
got it?
Okay, but where is it? Like, where's my spreadsheet?
Do you know why? Maybe because you have everyone.
The entire screen, or do you wanna do?
No, I wanna share that
Well, I can hide
spreadsheet right
everybody,
there.
yeah.
Or look, you're in.
No, that doesn't work.
Well, I'll have to do that once she starts sharing her screen.
What did you do last night?
Did she
Whatever
click on
you did
share?
last
I
night
did it
worked.
last
that
night.
again.
It
Do that
popped
thing again.
right up.
Did you,
Last night I had no problem.
Nicole, go down to the bottom where it says share and click on that.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Ah,
All right.
okay. Can we make it real big?
Yeah. There we go.
So just so everyone here at our table is aware, I took last night's edits, incorporated them, and then reprinted a new copy that I put on everybody's seat.
You must have done it at midnight. Thank you.
Goal number 3?
No, I think we did 3.
Yep, so we're on
I think
4.
we're on 4. Mm-hmm. Anyone want to rally for this one?
Sure, I can talk about goal number 4. So goal number 4 is to strengthen human resources and staff development. There are 2 objectives under this goal proposed. One is to ensure all town job descriptions, evaluations, and HR policies are up to date and reflect organizational needs. And I can go through those action items, or do you want me to just list also
So
objective
I'm
2?
showing 3.
You're showing 3?
I have 3 objectives.
1, 2, 3. Excuse me. There's 3.
Can we do the objectives first to make
Yeah.
sure that we have a full?
Objective 2, enhance professional development and workforce planning. And then 3, establish and reinforce behavioral and ethical standards across departments. Many of these are from fiscal 25's goals, if not all.
Are we okay with those objectives?
I was wondering if we could move action item number 3 regarding 2-week vacation off of goals and objectives and to the TM's contract at next renewal.
I agree with that. I feel like that's a pretty personal action
Yeah.
item to have here.
I do too. I understand the reasoning of it,
Yes.
so let's just say this aloud. Steve, you must take
Vacation.
2 weeks of vacation. And
I heard.
yes, you must do that.
And of course,
And
to
we're not gonna
encourage
make it a
staff to do
goal.
so.
It's something you need to do for your own sanity. Okay? All right.
Perfect.
Well, can you get some kind of reminder in your calendar to make sure that it gets put into your contract renewal?
Okay.
Okay.
It's like you and Brian are going on a cruise together.
My committee's not as nice as this one.
I get seasick, so you don't want to see me on a cruise. I'd rather be here.
Yeah, me too. I hear you on that. So we're down to 2 objectives then?
So, complete and implement a comprehensive review of job descriptions across all departments. This is a big undertaking. However, it could be very useful, especially as we have done so much modernization and rethinking the last few years. This will be an opportunity to make sure everyone's jobs are appropriately reflecting the work they do.
Isn't this already underway?
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say,
It
where's
is,
the
yeah.
human services
Yeah,
It is
so
falling under?
we,
Study,
Yeah.
Oh, we moved it.
it's not under this goal.
We moved it to
well, that's
goal
not job descriptions.
6.
No, 6 is infrastructure.
Yeah, but I know, it didn't make sense to move it to 6, but that's what we all decided
Yeah,
last
we
night.
did, we put it under
'Cause
six.
it's not human resources either, cause it's
Right.
about resources for the town
Oh, yeah,
residents.
yeah.
It's under 6.
So the job description review's been ongoing for 2 cycles now. This will be the 3rd.
Yeah.
We've attempted to apply for a grant to bring somebody in that could do all of them at once. We haven't been able to find one, so Joanne has reviewed job descriptions in between other projects, and anytime anybody leaves, we do a full review of that job description to make changes, update it. So little by little, we've been gaining ground on that. One of the questions in my mind at this point is, this is non-union employees. We haven't started looking at the unions because that's a separate task. And it would require some negotiations with the unions, or at least notifications. So right now, we're just looking at non-union personnel. But it's an ongoing task, and it's an ongoing project.
When do we do union negotiations? A year from now?
A year from now, yep.
So
Yep.
it'd probably be a good idea, though, so,
It'd be an FY '27 task then.
well, I'm saying we want to be through with what we'd like, so that when we go in to negotiate,
Mhm.
we have job descriptions that we think are what we need.
Mhm. Okay.
So should we edit this to say across all non-union departments, emphasizing complete? It sounds like it's close to done.
Well, I don't know if it'll be done this cycle.
What I'm suggesting now is, because we have union negotiations coming up in a year, that maybe we do need to start looking at those positions and at least, kind of put it out there, this is what we want for each department, what we need in order to continue to provide, the best services for residents and for effective government. So I'm almost of the mind that if we spend the time working on non-union, then we're not gonna be prepared for when union negotiations come up.
I agree.
So if it's currently in process, would we stop the work that's
Well, I
being
think
done?
that's, I don't know where we are, weren't you focusing on, departments,
Well, it was the financial.
finance, for instance, yeah,
Well, we're starting some finance now.
okay.
Human services are gonna be looked at through the human services study. Other positions, as they become vacant, are looked at. There's still a lot left to do.
I guess my question is, if the goal is we're prepared for union negotiations in a year, what needs to be done?
Well, I think if you want to include it as a goal and objective, you can do that.
No, I'm just-
And I'll have to
I'm
work that
asking
out
you.
with Joanne.
I'm asking you.
I don't know,
Oh, okay.
because that's an HR function. I
Right.
would have to discuss it with Joanne to find out exactly what we need to do. So, keep in mind, she's only one person,
I know.
and we're in the middle of a health insurance crisis right now,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that exact same thing.
So does that mean that then we don't go to the union negotiations with this, for this next round, and
Yeah.
in 3 years we do it?
Yeah, I think that gives
4
us
years.
enough of a runway to prepare for that. I think we already started tackling the non-union pieces of it. I think he's just bringing it up as right? You're the one that brought this up, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, you can put it on there as a placeholder, and if we don't get to it, we don't get to it. It's,
Well, I
or we just leave it off and we do our best. But I think it might be beneficial to ask the unions to look at their job descriptions during the negotiations. Say, look at them, get back to us with changes.
Well, that's
Yeah,
really
it,
what.
I don't think we can do that ahead of time.
Do we wanna create a
Yeah.
third action and
Okay.
split it union versus non-union?
You can.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we can. Let's
If they
do
just
that.
stay on there, so we're at least tracking, even when we don't accomplish it, it's still there.
Agreed.
Because otherwise we'll forget about it. We'll move
Right.
on.
That's true.
Okay.
And maybe instead of the word complete, maybe it's initiate, begin, something
Well,
like that.
non-union
Continue.
non-union would be complete.
Correct. And then for the union, if I used the wrong word, I'm sorry. For the union, it'd be like initiate, begin.
Initiate and implement. Whitney?
I don't know about implementation of union job descriptions. I don't know how that works. I don't know if we can make that a goal.
Discuss.
Well, and
Discuss.
I
Discuss.
don't want to create a heavy lift, so,
Let's just go with initiate.
yeah.
Which may literally be the conversation, even of how does one go about doing that outside of a contract negotiation cycle.
Does that feel better, Steve?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, going back to the human services study, I really think it belongs in this
I do
objective.
too.
I think we
Are
need to
there
move
not,
it.
aren't there other components of that study though? Because didn't we fold in recreational needs?
Well, it's rec.
Rec, senior center, senior services, and veterans agent.
Right.
So it's an organizational review of the management of those three departments as well as the program offerings,
Right.
services provided, and there's a component of evaluating the potential for shared services with other communities.
I
And
mean-
that's why we initially had it under the communications tab, because it was programs for residents as
Right.
well.
But I think we could perhaps consider changing the overall goal name so that it makes, because it feels like it makes sense to have the human,
But look, we
Go,
have it
go.
covered because we're saying reflect organizational needs, right? So the organizations are those three, or those areas, and the program offerings are part of the organization.
Think it's covered.
does that include the end user?
I mean, we could have like a hybrid. It could be, I don't know.
I'm
I
just
mean,
asking. It feels like it belongs.
It feels like it belongs
Yeah.
here.
Why don't we keep the programs under goal 2 and the organizational structure, so split it into 2 actions and make organizational structure under goal 4. Because all
Okay.
that is complete the human services study. Like, that's
Yeah.
just the study itself.
Yeah.
What about the actions that come after that with implementing these programs and reorganizations?
Just special projects. Sorry.
No.
Trying to.
I would caution against putting in
Yeah.
implementing recommendations until we know what the recommendations
Yeah.
are. So that's an FY27 thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then why don't we just leave it where it is under 6, because it really doesn't matter where it lies in the
Not
end. It's still a goal
particularly.
that has, or still an action that needs to get completed.
It doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't.
It's the wisdom of the group. I mean, is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
It's fine.
Leaving it under 6.
So Whitney,
Uh-huh.
back to you.
Can Joanne come back?
Yes.
Okay, so then we're only gonna have 2 action items under objective 1. Does
Well,
anyone want
Well,
Three,
three,
because
because
you
we're
split
splitting
it.
one.
Yes. 2 and its twin sister, so 3. Do we want to add anything else if we move on to objective 2? Okay.
You good?
Enhanced professional development and workforce planning. I think some of these are currently in progress.
Well, that was a carryover from last year, and department heads are tracking their professional development and reporting to Joanne with, minimum of 3 seminars, courses, regional meetings,
Do the
That
department
still
networking
needs
heads,
to be
sessions.
on there,
Yeah.
yeah.
well, actually, I have another thought. Do the department heads have contracts?
The only contracted employees are myself, police chief, and fire chief.
Okay. Because what I wanted to do was remove it and have it just live somewhere else and off of goals and objectives, so we don't have to look at it every year.
I think actually, because we say staff development, it's important to keep it on there, because that is an action under staff development.
Where do you see staff development?
The overall goal,
Professional
Oh,
development.
up above, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Green light, go.
Secure learning opportunities through collaboration with neighboring communities and municipal associations. I think that is important. I think we're doing that. Because that is kind of a continuous expectation, do we need to still explicitly list it?
Well, are we doing that, Steve?
I think it's part of number 4, which is
Yeah.
the professional development.
Yeah,
It counts towards 3, you know, courses, seminars annually. I don't know where that came from. That wasn't on last year's list, so that's,
Could have known it was AI.
Could have been an
I didn't add it.
yeah.
Also, I feel like Steve, you do a great job with MMA tutorials and things, sending that out to staff when appropriate.
Mhm.
So maybe we don't need to have that as a goal.
I mean, I think it's part of number 4, but if you want to keep it separate.
Or you can combine them. All right, combine those two.
Hang on. Okay, do you want me to say anything about municipal associations? No? Okay. So can I just delete it?
Sure.
Okay.
Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Whitney?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay.
I was jumping ahead to 6 and 7 and wondering if there's some
Yeah.
combination with these as well.
Yeah, I feel like those can be combined.
Yeah, so continue to develop a long-term workforce strategy, including succession planning and leadership development, I think is probably basically the same as create a succession plan for key municipal leadership and technical positions.
Is this for department heads or just TM?
Well, it says key municipal leadership, so those are department heads, in
Department
my
heads.
opinion.
Okay, so can I just in 6, just add that in for key municipal leadership?
Yeah, because we're only focused on department heads and Steve.
Right.
So, yeah, we don't need,
So department heads and TM. Okay, and I'm gonna get rid of 7.
implement recommendation of the organizational structure review of MIS.
What is this again?
Isn't that
That's
the
exactly what I was gonna
financial
ask you,
department?
Jen, because it's a
Good thing I
DLS
had-
number 4.
That's
Thank
the
goodness.
financial director position, isn't it?
Oh, I have,
Oh, yeah.
which thing are you
The
looking for?
DLS report?
Are you looking at the 2021 report or the 2025 report? The 2021 DLS report, recommendation number 4 is explore shared IT and HR operations between the town and the schools. Joanne is currently our HR director. She also manages the benefit for the schools, so we can say that that's complete. Shared IT, we've gone back and forth on this. Brian and I have discussed it many times, and it just seems like the technologies have separated themselves so far apart that combining it is not gonna yield in savings, it's not gonna be practical. We're gonna have to maintain 2 separate systems, and we're gonna have to maintain all the same staff. Logistically, it becomes a problem because we have town servers in one building, school servers in another, and it has not gained any traction. So since Brian is here, my opinion is it should come off the list and not be implemented. It's an old recommendation that the DLS still makes, but they've also acknowledged at the same time that very few communities can actually pull it off. How do you feel about that, Brian?
I agree.
So it's up to the board.
I mean,
No, that's fine. I mean, that's part of the process, right? We review the
Yeah.
old goals and we come up with new ones, so I
yeah,
think.
and I have to give both of you credit. I mean, you have had the discussions, you know, I know some of the issues.
We made a deal that whoever could get the better tan would call the final shot. And Brian won, and he said, take it off.
By a long shot.
All right, all right. Are you
Deadline's
okay with
September
that?
1st, Steve.
I'm ahead on the beard growing contest, so we're okay.
All right. Is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then I believe this is also an old goal, maintain MA Public Procurement Officer certification.
Yeah,
Can we get that off of there, because isn't
Yeah.
that just part of your
Yeah.
regular?
Yeah, that can come
Yep.
off.
that can go.
I don't know why my version has the Quabbin Health District cost benefit analysis, but I had added that to goal number 2 yesterday, right?
Yeah.
No, you stuck it here for some reason.
We moved it.
I think I just made it,
Yeah.
I think it's just an error. Let me just see. Oh, we did stick it there. Yes, we did. We did that on purpose. Okay.
Why did we do that?
Does it make sense?
Because it was more about employee, like,
Oh, that's
because we were
right.
considering direct employees
Thank
versus
you.
Quabbin Health District. So
All right.
I apologize, but that's number 10 up on the screen, but it's not on your printed version.
Okay.
No, it is.
It's on our printed
It's on our
version.
printed
Yeah.
version.
Well, it's not on mine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well,
Are
it's
you
just not on
looking
mine. Mine's old, never mind.
Yeah,
Mine's
mine's
old.
old.
Here, look in
Sorry.
front of your
You
computer.
have to,
Yeah.
you have to get the new one in front of your
Thank you.
computer.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. Okay,
So we're leaving that, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so 3, establish and reinforce behavioral and ethical standards across departments, starting with finalizing and adopting a code of conduct for all employees. And I think we have brought that up a few times, but we haven't gotten anywhere with it.
Well,
Well,
we reviewed it.
I think we're all on the same page with code of conduct for employees. Kind of stops there.
And then it
Yeah.
stopped.
yeah, that's on, I think, isn't that on the 18th? Or did we push that?
No, right, well, we're not there yet, but in my update on future meetings,
Yeah.
it is tentatively scheduled for the 18th to come back up for discussion, depending on what comes in
I know,
between now
we'll
and the
see what we
18th.
do tonight.
Yeah.
And elected officials or just employees?
I didn't differentiate. We have 2 separate policies that were prepared and vetted by council, and it's up to the board to decide if we're gonna do one or both.
So do we wanna keep it as a goal? Or an action item for that goal?
Yeah, because then we can cross it out when we do it.
We do like crossing things off.
Well, yeah, the code of conduct, does that include the one that I submitted as well?
There's a Sudbury model, and
That's
then,
the one.
and then there's
Okay. Yeah,
the 2 that were drafted by council or vetted by council, but yes, there's a,
well, maybe we
Belchertown
could
one
have
and-
Mark vet the Sudbury, I mean, that was already vetted through
Mhm.
their lawyers, but,
I think he did, and I think that's where we got our model from, but I'm not sure. But that's not on the
right.
agenda tonight, it's whether or not we
okay,
wanna.
so yeah, why don't we, keep the code of conduct as a goal?
Can we condense
Yes, can we
12 into
combine?
11?
Yes, we should do that.
Yes. Oh, look, I know this is, I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm gonna go back to, the health insurance thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible, Steve, that, we can get communications out, to the community so that the residents are aware of this issue
Mhm.
now, since we've
Yeah.
talked about it here?
Mhm.
Thank you. Sorry.
So
Just
while,
thought of that.
while we're going slightly off topic,
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there actually is a place that we wanna add an action item somewhere around this in the goals and objectives while we're finalizing tonight. I don't know if it falls under human resources. I was going to ask about that.
So I actually have that to add.
Okay, great. So do you wanna finish these and then
Yeah.
you've got something worded
Yeah.
already?
Yep.
I believe since we're not on 13, cause we just combined 2, I don't know if we need this next one, complete organizational structure review of senior center and rec department, cause
That's
isn't
the
this gonna
human
come out of the
services,
human
right?
services study?
It's the
Yeah.
same thing.
I had
Should
to
we
keep
skip
talking so I could say
13?
the final words.
Yeah, because
We just,
we're just saying right now
Oh, okay, we
that
skipped
we're-
ahead.
that's covered under the human services study.
Okay, so we're back on 13?
yeah, so what I was saying, and then Jen completed it for me, is that we don't need 13, cause
Yeah,
it's part
we
of the
don't.
human services study.
No, 13 is the finance department reorganization DLS 4.
Y'all, I'm looking at last night's
Yeah.
and tonight.
So-
We were here
Okay.
for 4.5 hours last night,
Yeah.
just in case y'all are curious, so.
DLS recommendation number 4 is the one
It's
we
the
just talked about.
same.
That's CIT.
IT and.
If you're
And
talking
I
about-
jumped
This
to
one
number
says-
14 on tonight's version, which
Okay,
was
this
13
one says
last night.
Finance Department DLS number 4
So I'm
from.
looking at number 4 on the DLS. It's explore shared IT and HR operation between towns.
Okay, so maybe we have the DLS number wrong?
I don't see one that has anything to do with.
There isn't.
Well, yeah, it's the
I-
most recent
Unless it's
DLS
the-
report.
That's the 2025
2025.
report.
Yep,
But there's no number to that. It's they only made one
okay,
recommendation.
so can I say DLS 2025?
Yes.
Because we're not taking this one off. I mean, this is one that once we have the funding, that, right?
Sure.
That we want to be talking
Well,
about.
hopefully we can get the
Hopefully we
funding.
have the funding. Okay, so we're leaving what is today's number 13 on,
Okay.
and then I was jumping to today's number 14,
Yeah.
taking it off.
Recall bylaw.
Yeah, Steve, what is the recall bylaw?
So there's a bylaw in the town code that allows elected officials to be recalled, and there's a process that goes along with that. 2 years ago, there was an attempt to revise that bylaw. It went to town meeting, the revisions were passed. It was rejected by the Attorney General's office. So there was a thought that we should try to revisit that. It's not been a priority of mine. I don't know how many times we're gonna attempt to revise a bylaw and have it rejected by the Attorney General's office, and why are we even bothering? I think it just changed thresholds for numbers of signatures, different procedures that were involved in it, and it didn't make a lot of sense to me. So it's up to the board if you want to keep it on there as a parking lot item, and we can get back to it sometime, or I can provide more information on what was proposed and what the objections were from the Attorney General's office, or we can just forget about it and move on. It's up to you.
So I'm less concerned about this particular bylaw and more concerned that there seems to be differences, or first of all, bylaws that are not up to date. One example would be the way that the bylaws are written on the FinCom's website versus the actual website as it pertains to an issue we had recently with can a finance committee member participate in other committees. I guess there was one website showed the bylaw written that it's okay, and the main website said that you can't. So I'm almost wondering if we should be looking at, this is a huge undertaking, but bylaws as a whole to make sure that everything is up to date and accurate.
That is one of the deal's recommendations.
Is it
right?
in goals and objectives though?
It should, I believe it was, if it's not, yes, it's on the next goal.
Okay, perfect.
Number 1, form a government study committee.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
right.
All right.
Okay,
Then I'm fine with getting rid of number 15.
Great.
that works with me.
Anybody
Sounds like
feel differently?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
So I had 3 actions all relating to health insurance.
Okay.
And you and I have talked about these already, but the first is I would like to see a really strong push to the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust to show, I want to see actual financial exhibits of higher deductible options with that HRA model that we talked about, which is a deductible reimbursement program on the medical plans as well as qualified high deductible health plans with health savings accounts. I understand that that has to go to an AIC vote, but I feel like every member of the IAC should be screaming at the brokers saying we need to see this. So that's one thing. I want to see implementation of a buy-up model on the PPO. So if you want the PPO plan, you have to pay more for it. You don't get it for the same percentage as you get it for the HMO. So if understanding that the PPO plan is more expensive, but this would be a true buy-up where you pay additional money for it if you want that larger network. And then number 3, I'd like to see a cost-benefit analysis of a waiver incentive program for the health insurance. In other words, what does the savings look like if we're paying employees to find coverage elsewhere?
Okay, so 2 of those items are local control, and one of them would not be.
Understood, but
Yeah.
we have a member who's on the executive committee.
And she's one of 73
I
votes.
got it,
So
I get it, but this
you can
is-
put it on, but I can't guarantee there's gonna be
Yep,
any success.
Understood,
Okay.
understood.
The other 2 are local options, changing ratios for the PPO. And any changes we make locally have to be negotiated with every union. And there's 8 of them in town.
Yep.
So that's something that could take years to implement.
I don't know if, I mean, look, I love this, and I think we should be asking for this anyway. I just wonder how do we, I mean, I guess to Steve's point, it's like, how do we,
How do you what?
how do we measure success on these things? I mean, it's basically, Steve would be gathering the information with Joanne. Joanne's one of 73, so she has a voice, but
Yeah, so I just wanna see her use it. I wanna see the request made. That's all I'm asking. The action is strongly request. It's not get this. It's just make the request.
So one of the future agenda items, September 2nd, we have tentatively scheduled Joe Shea, the manager of the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust, to present in front of the board.
Here to us.
I would suggest that message might come better from this board than Joanne. So I think I would recommend taking that one off, and if you want Joanne to do some legwork to provide some further information on financial impacts if we made changes to employee contributions, regardless of whether it's PPO, HMO, she can provide those financials for you. Keeping in mind, if you decide to act on them as a board, every union has to agree before they're implemented. And there'll be impact bargaining that goes along with that, so,
Can you start with non-union?
no, you have to do everybody or nobody. At least that's my understanding, with my conversations with council. But I can have her gather that data for you, and I can also have her gather data on what a buyout, a waiver would
Yeah.
save. So if you're just looking for data, that's something that's achievable.
Yep.
Um,
Well, I guess on the second one, what I would definitely wanna know is absolutely positively, do we have to have all unions, including non-union, in agreement before we can move any of that forward?
Okay.
I do think that when Mr. Shea comes, that,
Oh, I will.
yeah.
I will.
I think these are excellent. These are all excellent, so it's not like, oh, no. It's more, does it fall under a goal? Or is that just something
I
that we
think
would
it
do?
does, because these are long-term investments.
Right.
So would the goal maybe be advocate on behalf of the town with?
I don't know if
The
that
thing that you
necessarily
said.
needs to be in there, that part of it.
Which thing that I said.
IAC, what's the IAC?
What?
What is IAC?
Oh,
Insurance Advisory
yeah.
Council.
Thank you. Obviously Nicole's.
I know, we're all gonna be listening to Nicole on
I'm okay,
second.
I'm okay to take that first one. I just really wanna see the numbers on number 2 and number 3,
Yeah,
because
we
I
can
feel like.
provide numbers, sure.
Okay.
So do we need to include that under the goal?
I think there needs to be a long-term goal about, we're gonna be faced with this again next year.
Okay.
Because, this 20% only gets us through to June 30th, then what happens again next year?
It's gonna be bad.
So that seems to me like a very worthy action.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And is this a new objective that we've
Well,
created?
that's the, yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like
probably
it
should
is.
be.
But I'm wondering, does that go under strength and
Finance.
human resources and staff development, or does that go under finance?
Yeah, cause that really just
money.
messes up the goal, the main header goal too, if we add it here and not under finance.
Yeah. What do you think?
I agree,
Okay.
finance. Let me just type a note here so I don't forget.
Okay. Does anyone else have any objectives or action items for this goal?
So how many action items do we have under this goal? I
We
guess
got
that's
rid of
the-
a whole bunch.
Or two, actually.
Only 2 action items?
Yeah, because we combined 11 and 12.
No, I mean under the goal, under goal
Oh,
4.
yeah.
Oh, the goal
Now,
itself?
we have
1,
3 of
2,
them.
3, 4,
8.
5,
8.
6, 7, 8.
There's 8 under goal 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you, Steve?
Well, I was gonna hold that question till the end, but we have, under goal 1, we have 27 action items. Under goal 2, we have 10. Under goal 3, we have 7. And under goal 4, we now have 8.
So, something here doesn't
You were
fit.
at 86 last year. 86, 89?
So I guess that's gonna be the question, are we going to do some prioritization? Are we gonna put end dates on any of these?
Yes.
Right.
The
Okay.
prioritization we talked about last night would be on economic development.
Okay, so when we get through this, can we revisit that a little bit? Because I guess I don't think I quite understood the prioritization.
I don't think we've talked about it yet,
We
really.
did. We
The
talked,
prioritization?
well, just
I
that
think I missed it.
we agreed that, was I at the same meeting when we agreed that,
Well, we talked about economic development being the priority that's fed through all the departments from leadership. But I think maybe it was unclear
okay,
about where that falls in line with all of these other goals, because we hadn't yet tackled any of the other goals, so I can see, you know, all of that. I don't know that, okay, this is why, yeah.
all right, then let's keep going.
Goal number 5, finance. So the goal itself is, goal up there, achieve long-term financial stability.
What is it, strengthen?
Achieve long-term financial stability, okay. Right, so the objectives, there are 4. Objective number 1 is implement recommendations of the DLS to improve financial operations. Number 2 is maintain regular, transparent financial reporting practices. Number 3 is increase the town's capacity to secure external funding through grants to advance infrastructure, public services and programs, and stability. I gotta get rid of an and there. And number 4, provide eligible taxpayers with meaningful opportunities to reduce their tax burden while staying actively engaged in the community.
So we hit all the objectives. John, you wanna add anything?
I think we're good.
Under
Some of these will come off as we go through.
Yeah, there's a lot of these that are done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so under objective number 1, action number 1, form a government study committee, that's DLS number 1.
Yeah.
We're good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 2, address the town's structural deficit in coordination with the select board, finance committee, and all department, and I think that should be in school department. Does anybody know what that should be?
All departments, I think.
All departments? Okay.
Including school department.
Okay. I was thinking the tri-board. Okay, so under DLS number 5,
should change the town manager, though, isn't the town manager responsible
I
for
mean-
budget?
Yeah,
So I would just point out that DLS number 5 is curtail use of one-time revenues to address structural budget deficit. So that we created a policy.
yeah.
Like, I might say that that is actually done. I'm not saying our deficit has disappeared. What I'm
No, but
saying is the
we-
DLS number
we-
5.
yeah, we've created a path and we so far have
Mhm.
been, you know, adhering to it.
So should we remove it?
Yeah.
I would say.
You good, Whitney?
Well,
I mean,
there's a very good chance that we might have to walk that back in just a few weeks, right?
Well, I mean, a lot of things might have to change.
So do we remove it?
Well, the select board, the finance committee, and the schools are still gonna meet as a tri-board. This is gonna be discussed, as part of that. So, it is unclear that, you know, what's gonna come out of that. We need to get more information. I mean,
well, here's the reality, right? Like, we're just gonna keep slipping underwater with all these rising costs, right?
Yeah.
Like, so the things that will get us out of treading water or going under are the things like economic development,
Right.
right?
That's why
So
it's
they all like
priority.
feed into each other. So I don't know that, I think address the town's structural deficit is really the activity of the other activity component pieces of it. So that's,
it's ongoing.
it's ongoing, right? That's like, I think what I'm
That, I
trying to
think the
say.
goal was met when we
Created a policy
exactly,
for
So-
and
rehab.
all met together and said, okay.
The
this is what
argument
we
to
all
remove
agreed
it
to.
is not because of the word deficit, but because DLS number 5 has been satisfied, that recommendation.
Yeah, we adopted a policy that we were adhering to, whether or not we decide that we're in an emergency situation and we need to revise. I think it's like the recognition of like, we
Yep.
need to get away from just sticking free cash back into the budget, right?
Is that okay?
Yes, when you, and that explanation makes sense to me.
Schedule and review a demo of the long-range financial forecasting tool, DLS number 7.
Yeah, we can do that. We just, our agendas just keep filling up, so. We just have to make it a priority and do it one of these days,
Yeah,
so.
we're looking at September 2nd at this point.
We got a pretty packed agenda already on the second, so. But we, to remind the select board, there was a request to get the DLS here to talk about the 2025
Yeah,
financial audit. I did talk to our town accountant about the forecasting tool, just to see where she is with updating things, and we're a month into this fiscal year, so with the rollover from FY '25 to FY '26, she's still updating that tool with the FY '26 numbers, so we can maybe try to put both of those things together so that the DLS would be here during the demo.
so maybe even near the end of September,
Yeah,
rather than cause any stress.
right, yep. So yes, leave it on and we'll try to work that out.
Automate applicable financial services with assistance of DLS.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that
either.
is.
Yeah, where did that come from?
I don't know.
I know what that's from. We discussed as a board if there were ways to automate what we're doing, like,
Oh.
yeah. And so that it's less of a burden. You know, this was before we adopted the new system. There's a whole financial piece and payroll piece to it. I don't know if we're actually using it or not.
Okay. This seems familiar.
I remember we talked about automating things like the building permit application. Remember that? I don't remember it in reference to finance.
Yeah, it's not on my list from last year.
Yeah, I remember this. This was before the new system was put in place. And here's the real question, rather than trying to figure out.
It's actually,
Yeah.
it's actually under fiscal '25 goals and objectives, review potential to automate financial services.
Yeah.
So that's all that is.
Under what? Under finance?
Under your last year's goals, budgets and financials. It's bullet number 8, review potential to automate financial services.
Yeah.
That's where it's
We
coming
did
from.
talk about it. My
Oh,
question is
okay,
that
I'm looking at the
part
wrong
of
form.
the new system? Is that part of the new system
What is the new system?
that we bought, that now, Civic Plus, is that what it is?
That's the website.
It's the website, Munis.
Munis.
Munis is just our accounting software.
What's our payroll?
Yeah, what's payroll?
Payroll's in Munis. Yep.
Didn't we have a new system? When I first came on, we were doing something.
So we had a community compact grant to implement a payroll system. They were unable to implement it because of the variety and varied way that employees are tracked and paid through all the various unions and overtime and shifts changing. It just, they couldn't not program it to work because there were so many different methods of pay. And a lot of them are prescribed in the union contracts, bi-weekly, weekly,
Oh,
26
everyone's
pay
on it.
periods,
Different
52
thing,
pay
yeah.
periods. You have DPW workers working 30 hours through a storm, and the system wouldn't track it. So Kevin Hannon in the IT department automated the tracking system. So rather than have a time clock, they're now punching into a unit that's tied to the computer, so everything just gets printed out. And so they've taken that as far as they can. Yeah.
Are other things automated, like if people want to take vacation, or,
Well, that's like an employee kiosk.
yeah,
That hasn't happened. I know there's, well, not every employee has a
It's-
computer.
I'm just curious, and honestly, I don't know that it's gonna fit in with
Yeah.
this year's goals. So, unless,
Remove it.
I don't know.
delete, okay,
Move
all
on.
right.
All right, objective number 2. Produce and review quarterly financial reports summarizing revenue collection and departmental expenditures.
Well, don't we get a monthly?
Yeah,
Do
but
you get 'em
does it
monthly?
not have the revenue component of it?
I thought it did, but yeah, you've been getting monthly
has-
reports?
Okay.
It has everything.
Yeah.
It's
So-
it's a data dump, it's not.
Okay, I'm gonna mark that as completed then.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Schedule quarterly tri-board budget updates and ensure clear documentation for public understanding. I think that's done. I mean, we
Yeah.
just gotta keep at it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so
So
complete.
do we get rid of objective 2?
Yeah?
yeah,
Right. So, new objective number 2, rehire a grants coordinator to support town departments in applying for, tracking, and obtaining grants.
I mean, that's just part of our job now,
yeah, and
so
honestly,
that
didn't
can
you
come
just
off.
hire, or did you not? You haven't, did you put it
We
out?
have the ads out for the
Okay.
grants managers, yeah.
Alright, so
But
you
that's
want
just-
that
I think we
removed?
can take
Well,
that
yeah,
out.
like any other vacancy. The intent of this was to get a grants writer for the town.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it, ta-da.
Identify funding the FY 26-27.
That's done, yeah.
What's that?
Override.
Yeah.
What?
That's from the override, we got it
Yeah,
covered.
we did that.
What are we what I was just talking about?
Number 8,
Identify the
yeah.
funding?
Number 8.
Oh,
but-
okay. All right.
But number 9,
That's,
oh, actually, you probably have it as a
Hang on,
different
hang on.
number. I'm looking at the
Okay.
old one.
Numbers are.
Yeah, so the deputy fire chief, that one's not, that,
correct.
okay, so that one stays?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Continually monitor and apply for state and federal grants. See, okay, this one I have an issue with because that's inherent to the grant,
Yeah,
to the
Mhm.
grant manager's job. I don't
Agreed.
understand why it has to be
Agreed.
separate. Can we get rid of it?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. Advocate for more unrestricted aid of chapter 70 and 90 funds.
I do that every time I talk to one of our legislators, so.
exactly.
I mean,
How you
there's-
doing?
Alright, let's get
Yeah.
rid of that. Oops.
So we have 1 under objective 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. objective 3, implement the voluntary contribution statutes for seniors and,
Done.
okay.
Okay.
Tax work-off program is done. And
So,
Cheap
well, I have a question. Can we just, can we put it under objective 3? Like, increase the town's capacity to secure external funding for grants and invention, public service programs, sustainability?
It is on, we got
Oh,
rid of an
it's
objective,
not.
so it's now under objective 3.
Okay, all right, good.
But we still gotta add the
But
members of
actually-
Heroes Act. We haven't done the full.
Well, we haven't done it for the senior write-off, although those are being rolled out.
Yeah, we're,
they're approved at town meeting. The voluntary contributions will be on, I think, the next tax bill.
I think it is the next one.
Tax work-off program,
Yeah.
we're accepting applications through August 15th. So they're all done.
okay.
Yep.
But,
The
On-
Hero, the Heroes Act is a,
We did like 10%. We didn't do the full.
right, we bumped it up.
So we're collecting applications for the voluntary contribution and the senior and veterans tax write-off program now,
Mhm.
and we haven't had the whole rollout of how it's all gonna work.
we're doing that
There's,
tonight.
there's only two pieces of, very minor pieces of information. If we didn't get the advertisement out,
Okay,
we wouldn't be implementing it this year.
and that's gonna be on the 18th.
No, that's tonight.
It's tonight.
It's
No, I
on,
mean, that's when you'll talk about the, whatever we don't know.
it's on tonight's agenda. I need that answered tonight.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I thought we moved that to the 18th. Okay.
Okay, so can we get an action on here to make sure that if you believe we need one regarding the Heroes Act and how we're gonna progressively go up on that contribution?
I think we do.
Can you give me the action?
Implement the effects of the Heroes Act across
Implement the what?
the effects of the
Effects?
word.
I don't know.
Law, the Heroes Act law, I don't know what it.
Oh, I see. Is it implement
Yeah,
the Heroes Act law
full effect.
or implement the program that
So
falls
we already
under?
started implementing it, it's just a matter of going up to the next percentage tier, right?
Yeah.
Is that, does that have to be an action item, or is that gonna naturally occur?
Well, the vote that was taken was a recommendation to town meeting, I think, to increase it by 20%. I forget now. Regardless, that was definitive. There was no mention of an automatic increase year after year. So what John is trying to say is he wants to review it. I don't know if it needs to be goals and objectives or just something we address during the tri-board meetings. I guess if you put it on here, we won't forget it.
Well, I'm also, we had a lot of, okay, that's fine. I'm just
I mean,
thinking,
it'll be something we can cross out during budget season. I don't think if we don't.
I mean, if
track
we
it,
add,
we're gonna forget it.
if we increase it 20% a year, it's gonna be on here for 4 or 5 years.
okay.
So I don't know
Full amount, you know.
what you wanna do.
So review the Heroes Act annually. Help me.
Trying to figure out.
I wanna keep this one, loose. It's not that I don't wanna implement it, I'm just looking at our finances. Like, I don't know how many people this would affect. I'm not saying don't, but can we say something like, continue to monitor progress of the Heroes Act?
It just doesn't seem like it's a goals and objectives.
It
It just
doesn't feel like it to me, because they already passed it.
seems like it should be a discussion during budget season.
Yeah. But this does fall under finance.
Yeah.
But if we don't plan for it in budget season, we're never gonna get the next step, that's what I'm saying.
I guess I'm confused. FinCom was the one that that initially voted on it going onto the warrant, right? So why does that lie with us?
Should've came to the select board and the select board didn't do it, so FinCom took action to move it forward, to press it forward to the
We
select
didn't
board.
do it?
The Finance Committee did not put it on the town meeting warrant. The Finance Committee made a recommendation to the Select Board. The Select Board discussed it and voted to put it on the town
So
meeting
shouldn't
warrant.
it fall again with the finance committee to determine in future years if they should increase the percentage?
Or at least make a recommendation.
Correct,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that comes in the normal course.
Which is why I'm saying we throw it out, we get rid of it,
Push it to the finance committee.
push it to the finance committee.
Okay. You all right with that?
I mean, we know you're gonna
Yeah.
stay on it, we're not worried about it.
Yeah. Okay.
What do we do with the FY26 exemption applications? That's just a standard operating procedure for
Yeah, I
our
would agree.
assessors.
Yeah, just take that off.
Do we wanna add, an action for the health insurance?
It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Okay, so then why did we move it from goal 4 to 5?
I mean, we could,
I'm fine with removing it as an action, but it's just so important to me.
it's important to everyone.
I thought we added those 2 items.
I thought we did too, but now
Yeah,
this is
well,
suggesting we remove it.
I'm not, there are a lot of moving parts to this one, and if we do an action like implement the recommendations of the tri-board meeting, as well as, you know, recommendations from, I don't know, I just don't know
But this
how we.
doesn't have anything to do with the tri-board meeting. This is for FY27, looking at, alternatives to plan designs.
Because this would be a good recommendation, even if the rates hadn't changed, even if we weren't
Oh,
in this position,
absolutely, yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
in general, it's
Okay.
a good practice.
All right,
Look at recommendations for health insurance, whatever you wanna call it.
What?
Look at recommendations for health insurance, change plans.
there,
Mhm.
that's great.
Okay, what objective? So,
Sounds like you need a new objective.
could that fall under 2, since it's a financial, like, we're looking for a
Yes.
report?
Yes. Do it.
The 2 that we got rid of?
The
Or
two
the
that
new
we got
2?
rid of.
2.0 or the original 2?
The original too. It's right there.
We do, we need a new objective.
No, we
But
can
you
put
it's
it
up there,
under
go up,
goal
back up.
5, objective 1.
I thought we put
it's right there,
that under HR.
objective 2.
We did, and then we moved it.
Objective, those are DLS recommendations.
Right, it doesn't fit there.
It
Okay.
is a
Can I,
fi-
can
it
I
should go
just
under
make a, can I
finance.
just make a note and think on it, and we can review it?
Yep.
Okay.
When are we reviewing it?
I guess that means we'd have to do it the next meeting.
Okay. I thought this was gonna go through another round where we were gonna marinate on this
Oh,
before
yes,
we.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
in all
okay.
fairness, we probably can't vote on it tonight with so many edits.
No, we're not gonna be able to. All right, okay, are we done?
One more goal.
Yep,
So would we end up if just 4 action items?
okay, who wants to,
Who wants to do it?
So the objective is address town buildings and infrastructure.
yeah,
The goal is to address town buildings and infrastructure. There's one objective, which is to enhance the use of facilities, equipment, and capital assets. Action number 1, continue to manage the town's buildings and equipment capital inventory in partnership with DPW, FinCom, Select Board, and the Capital Planning Committee.
Can we add school department in there? Because I think they're the biggest owner of bricks and mortar in this whole group.
We're just renters.
taxpayers own the property. We just occupy them. The school department's the biggest tenant presently.
So we can get rid of that National Grid fleet thing because
Can
of
I,
That can
I'm
go.
sorry, can I make a recommendation on number 1?
Yeah.
Instead of saying continue to manage,
Mm-hmm.
what do we think about develop a detailed process to manage the town's buildings and equipment? Because isn't that something that capital planning committee's already kind of working on for us?
Well, we have a capital planning policy that spells out exactly what steps need to be taken. We have funding sources now. The Capital Planning Improvement Committee is working on revisions to the request form, and they're also working on revisions to the 5-year plan for tracking. So in a sense, if you drop continue, then it's a task that's complete.
Yeah.
I think we want to continue with those efforts.
That was the whole point of creating that. The one thing that that is not clear to me is how that committee makes decisions. And I think in the spirit of transparency, it would be important for the community to understand how those decisions are made.
Mhm.
I don't know if we need that as an action item or,
They're open meetings.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, they have go-to meetings, they're public meetings, they meet
it's
here.
not that, it's, you have the whole page.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if you can add, this is the purpose, and this is how the decisions are made. So it's just right there. I mean, is there any reason not to do that? I mean, is there,
Well, I think that is in the capital planning improvement plan, what you're saying, so, and that's a published
you know what
plan.
I'm saying, right?
No, I don't actually,
Okay.
because we created a committee to do the work, so we don't have to. And then, so if anyone's interested in that process, they can watch the meeting or go
Yeah,
to the.
and when
to
you're
the meeting.
when you're listening to these meetings, it's very technical as to all the different
Okay.
things that go into where they're placing things on the list.
All right,
So,
And they wrote a very comprehensive report. I mean, it was several pages long.
I'm just anxious that, you know, it's like, well, if you don't go to the meeting,
But that's the same thing, the same argument that we have
I know.
for everything. You can't
No.
go to every single
Yeah,
meeting.
exactly.
You would go you would have 0 free time.
Steve goes to every single meeting.
okay.
All
I'll
right,
withdraw that.
so we're gonna leave it as is,
Yep.
except add school department, okay. Number 2, implement recommendations from the National Grid Fleet Assessment Report.
I don't know what
I
that
think we can remove it.
Yeah, that's electrifying our fleet, and the technology's just not there. We don't have electric dump trucks and
All right,
snow
we're done with
plows. And
that.
Yeah.
EVIP charging, we did.
What's going
The
on
things
over, yeah, is that
ongoing.
done?
Stalled.
No, we need to upgrade the electrical service into the Finnerty House. That is going to happen on the 11th,
If they show up.
if they show up this time. So the Finnerty House will be closed for at least part of the day while they're swapping the electric service over. Once that's in, the installer will come back and put the charging stations in. So we're still a month or two away. It doesn't need to be on here, to be honest with you.
Is there a charge for
yeah.
that results in revenue to the town?
I think it's revenue neutral. There's
Yeah.
a charge, but it's expected to be revenue neutral.
Okay,
Yeah,
so remove it?
yeah.
All right. Complete living quarters project for fire department.
Yeah,
Take that.
Keep it on.
oh, come on, I mean, it's not, we're gonna keep that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
said
Yeah, I
no.
want to complete it.
Oh, I thought, yeah, I thought, okay, good.
Are you sure you don't want to keep the EVIP charging stations? Because you'll get to check it off, or no?
No, it's fine.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a relatively, I don't even know, on number 5,
Oh, I'll make it orange and we'll move it to completed, sorry.
Okay,
Thank
That
you
still,
for
that satisfies me a
mentioning
little
that.
more, thank you.
Okay.
the Town Beach Bathhouse,
I mean,
I think,
that's kind of a lot.
well, we haven't even planned it yet.
Yeah,
Yep.
So I don't know how we're going to complete the renovations if we haven't
Yeah.
planned it, we haven't designed it, we haven't
No.
built it out, we haven't funded it. So,
I
I
think
think-
it's something that needs to be done, but I don't think it needs to be part of the goal setting for this year.
Yeah, and the season's ending anyway, you're not
Yeah.
gonna probably do the work in the winter.
Well,
That's when you would do.
we probably would in the fall.
Yeah.
So I think there's a planning component to that, but I don't know if we're there yet, so.
Well, I'm also just thinking of everything else that we want to try to accomplish, and yes, this is something that needs to be done.
Yep.
I don't think it needs to be on this year's set of goals.
I think it belongs with our capital improvement planning
Yeah.
committee.
That's true.
Can we mix that?
Mhm.
Complete resurfacing of Town Beach parking lot, is that the same, or what?
Did we put a
Is that what it's-
Well, that's a funded project, so it's gonna begin,
Okay, so we'll just leave it for now.
yeah.
Okay. Identify the next properties to put out to bid.
Mhm.
I don't know why there was a date in there. Yeah, no, get
We
rid of
have
it.
a column for that, and we can always add those
Yeah.
later, expected
Okay.
complete date.
All right, so I marked finalized Franklin school sale as orange since we're doing that tonight.
We moved last night.
Who's that?
7 through 10, we moved from a different section.
Locate land suitable for recreational use to replace impending loss of state school field abutting 202. Okay, so Jen, you're just saying
Yeah,
just leave them there.
Right.
Yep.
All right, actually, I had two. Identify other projects where the town can benefit from the use of Pathfinder students. Inquire with Smith Vocational regarding community assistance programs that they offer.
What do you mean use of Pathfinder students?
You're doing a living quarter project for the
Yeah.
fire department.
Is that what you mean, Nicole? You mean for them to be able to do more building projects?
Hmm?
You mean for more building projects?
Yeah, like, what else can we get on their list for,
Okay.
to utilize them for?
And then you wanted to inquire with Smith
Could
Oak
it
to
be
see
the
if they do the
bathhouse
same.
renovation, or, and do we know what Smith Voc offer, do they offer a similar program that Pathfinder offers? I mean, we're one of the largest towns utilizing Pathfinder.
What are we currently working with Smith Volk on? Veterinary services and,
Yeah, I don't think that's the same thing as what Nicole's, I don't know that they would come here, that we're not in their catchment, we're
Okay.
not, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Ours is Pathfinder.
We're not major like we are to Pathfinder.
Yeah, and we only send to Smith for the, animal science, cause that's the regulations.
Mm.
Right, so I would like to withdraw that second edition, but I do wanna keep the first edition on how we can continue to,
Explore continued
like
Working with
partnership with
Pathfinder.
Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Is number 11 complete human service study, isn't that specific for
We
HR?
moved it to
So-
4.
Explore continued partnership
yeah.
with Pathfinder.
Hang on, John, I'll get to you in a
Sorry.
second.
Thanks. I just passed the message.
Explore continued partnership with Pathfinder. What? Pathfinder student community services?
Okay.
I can change it, I don't know.
No, I think that's fine.
Okay. So, we didn't do anything with human services study.
I thought I moved to 4, whatever 4 is, HR.
mhm,
Doesn't matter under HR.
that's where it is, at least I
Yeah,
thought.
moved it to HR because we decided we didn't have
We
anything
didn't
to
move it yet, though, I
implement
can
at
move
this
it.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, move it.
Move it over.
Move it forward.
Whitney, what objectives should we put it under?
Oh. It doesn't really go under any of those objectives.
I thought
Maybe
it went under
objective
the,
2 for workforce planning?
It could.
It could, yeah, that might be the best.
It's workforce planning.
It could also go under ensure all town job descriptions if it's gonna then involve review of the descriptions of the jobs, but it's more than that.
I think it's more than that.
Yeah, I think objective 2.
Okay.
It fits there.
Guess what?
we're done
Did
We're
we
done.
get it?
for right now.
Meeting adjourned, no?
If only.
All right.
So,
Thank you.
you know, as a follow-up question, I guess, where are we with prioritization? And are
Right.
we going to add in expected completion dates? How does that column
Right,
get
'cause we have a
populated?
column for that.
Well, what do people think?
Or is that for stew on it and we'll revisit it next meeting?
Well, let's talk about priorities.
No, he's not going anywhere.
Oh,
I
gosh.
guess the expected completion date would be something, could be something that you could give to us, would be my fear, like,
I
my
can't
thought.
hear you.
Expected completion date would be something maybe like Steve could present to us, like, hey, I think we could get this done by January, when he's throwing it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna set a date for him, like, you need to get this done by this date, cause life happens. He might be able to give us a better idea with some of this stuff, I mean, some of these aren't gonna have dates, I don't think. If that makes sense, I don't think all of them are gonna have dates.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be wishful thinking, but it's not realistic. In my
It could
eyes.
be percentage if we don't have like done, like, you know, is there a percentage? I like what John's suggesting, rather than us tell Steve,
Mm-hmm.
have Steve come back with recommendations to us. If it's not complete by, it can be a percentage.
Well, I would say if we do that, and if we say, Steve, come back and tell us what you think, then I think that means we have to accept what he proposes. So unless we set an expected complete date, I think that means that we have given him the entire year, and we have to be comfortable with that. Which, maybe that's okay, but I don't want him to then come back and say, okay, I propose this, and then we go, well, that's a big priority, you know, which could happen.
So when I entered that column, it was not with the intention for us to enter a date there, it was for Steve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just while we're talking about columns, current progress date, what was the thought behind that column?
I just want him to give the date that he's writing the progress information in the progress column. Cause so when you look on the existing goals and objectives, we see his progress, but I don't know as of what date that was, so it just helps us to kinda know where he is, like, when the last time something was addressed.
And we have several reports, quarterly, twice a year. So those should be put in based on when we vote on the set of goals as complete. So that we all have an expectation of when those progress reports would be due.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a total of 65 actions, which is about 24 less than last year, so I think that was a good chunk out.
Well, we also went from, I actually think it was more than that, but, okay, so we'll go with your number. They were all goals, and they weren't. They weren't
Yep.
goals.
Mm-hmm.
This year, we have 6 goals. And I think it is more manageable, like we actually can see them all, you know, and then understand what actions are associated with that. But Steve, what's your sense of what we've gone through the past 2 days? Spent many hours working on this. It was, I think, a very thoughtful process, but you've been, you know, pretty quiet.
Well, my silence, if you will, has been, this is a process for the select board to kick things around. I think I've injected comments where I thought maybe you were heading in a direction that was unattainable. I think 65 action.
Equation.
Yeah, understood, but I did a lot of listening to try to figure out, you know, what direction the board wants to go in. 65 action items. I think the number of action items is misleading. It could be 100, it could be 10. The level of effort with each action item is what we need to evaluate. Some of these are pretty big lifts. Creating a government study committee is not a simple process. That could be a multi-year
Oh, yeah.
effort. There probably will be no expected completion date at this time until we get further into this. Some of these items are pretty easy. It's just a policy change, and it'll be checked off the list. So we need to keep that in mind. You know, when I look at this list, I see complete the Main Street, North Main Street design. Well, that could be 5 years. You know, we are at the mercy of Mass DOT. They review those plans, they make comments, and we have to address those design changes. And we have to have funding for it. So again, there's probably not a date that I can give you, but I can give you a progress update annually and say we're getting closer. You know, becoming a complete streets community, that's going to happen over the next couple of months, you know. So I think I'm going to need to take a hard look at this to figure out what things are going to be completed over the next, well, I guess we're 10 months now, and what's going to be an ongoing project, and I'll report back. I don't think there's anything that's inappropriate. I think everything that's on here is something the town should be looking at some point. I just don't know what the board's expectations are. I don't know what your priorities are. I don't know, you know, what percentage of this do you think should be complete over the course of the year? You know, that's where I struggle every year that we talk about this. You know, how am I going to be graded based on this plan? So far, I think the boards have been very reasonable and understanding of delays and setbacks, and I hope that continues, because this is a big list. You know, between the health insurance, the government study committee, and the Sports Haven project, I mean, that's a big lift right there for one person. Keep in mind, I still have 16 department heads that I need to manage and oversee. You know, we have a budget season that we're going to be running into pretty quick, so I will do my best with this. You know, that's all I can say. So I'll report back on those completion dates, and I guess I'd be looking for some guidance from the board for priorities. And we don't have to do that tonight. We can do that when I come up with those completion dates, and you can.
Well, I would like to talk about priorities while this is still hot on everybody's mind. Just to give Steve some direction on where the board wants to place an emphasis. This does not mean that goals are ignored, but we have a set of very robust goals. He's only one person. How does the board want Steve to balance this time?
Is there a value in, not tonight, looking at all of these line by line and having a bi-directional conversation about setting some expectations? Like, you know, one line you tell us, yeah, I know I can get this done within the fiscal year, and we make note of that. And then maybe there's another line where you say this is a 4 or 5 year project, and we make note of that. So that when we circle back at your review time, we know that we've already discussed and agreed that these are certain things that we can't expect you to have finished within the fiscal year, but these are ones that we could have expected you to do that.
Well, that's kind of what I had suggested. If I could have the time to put completion dates where I can, and then we can talk about that.
But some of this is new to you, for, you know, in terms of economic development. And the relationship building piece of it. is, maybe outside of your comfort zone. But I also think that it might provide the most satisfaction. And I think it's a real challenge. And so I do hesitate on pieces that might be new for him, that we are encouraging him to take those steps rather than have it go through the cracks.
That's why I'm saying we should go through each one and have a joint conversation, not just wait for completed dates, so that we can make this reasonable for everybody and set the expectations line by line.
I think I need time to review it all once it's
Yeah,
finalized
that too.
and figure out what is the priority to me, or what I think is a priority. Because I don't think maybe some of these in goal 1 or some of these action items are priorities in each goal. I don't think the whole goal is a priority. Certain parts of each goal is a priority.
I guess, and that's what I was looking for. I mean, maybe a way to get past this tonight, if we want to revisit it in 2 weeks, is over the next 2 weeks, I'll work on expected completion dates, and maybe the individual board members could take the list and prioritize it, so that when we come back, we can compare priorities, we can compare end dates.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I also think percentages, because there's some that you're not gonna be able to do. So
Mhm.
what percentage of it do you think you can,
Let's-
that might
yeah.
give you more of a, like, well, this is what I think I can do.
Okay. I'll do my best on that.
Jen?
I think that seems like a course of action.
That sounds fine to me.
All right. So we'll come back in 2 weeks. Let's all take a good look at what we set out for Steve, and maybe come up with some of your own dates. We can compare notes, and are you suggesting that we go through each item and discuss each action?
I was suggesting that, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair to
Shouldn't take
Steve.
too long.
Not tonight, I wasn't.
No, what I'm suggesting is we need to revisit the August 18th agenda then.
Yeah, there's stuff that's not.
We're gonna have to move those items.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a minute, so.
Here on August.
Excuse me?
I'm not here on August 18th. Just reminding you, I'm not here
Oh,
on
yeah,
August
I
18th.
know, I'm just thinking about what you're saying.
So, if you guys can kind of make sure you throw out
Yeah.
the old,
Yeah.
so that we're not getting confused, I will update this again tonight, or tomorrow, and send it back to Steve for him to redistribute to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Steve, can you make copies of these, like in the next few days, the updated one?
Mhm.
I'll come back and come to your office and pick up on
Sure.
it. I don't know if anybody else wants to do it, but I like to write on it. And what I urge the board to do is please recognize that we are already over a month behind on delivering goals to Steve. We can talk about this, and I understand, but can we make a goal for ourselves that by the end of August, Steve has goals?
I think we're gonna vote on it next meeting, right?
Well, I'm just saying.
It's fine, I don't have to,
Okay.
I've already asked for other things to be moved so that I can be present.
So all I'm saying is, by the end of August, if we don't get it through next meeting, we all agree that we'll have them done by the end of August.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
next meeting.
All right. Okay. So,
Lisa, may we take a break, and if not, I will be declaring a point of personal privilege.
yes, let's take, is everybody okay with a 5-minute break?
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Make a motion for a break, or
Yep.
Second.
will we take a
All in
5-minute
favor?
break?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you.
you got one more minute.
One
so
more minute.
9:04.
I'll see him
Stand up.
tomorrow.
All right, let me get it started here.
Is it time?
This conference will now be recorded.
You ready, Dan? Okay. I think we're close enough.
Okay. Welcome back to the August 4th meeting of the Select Board. We are going to discuss, well, Steve, you want to cue it up?
Yeah, we're gonna go into 5B, which is the inclusion of a public comment period during future meetings. As the board knows, we've had a lot of requests to allow public comment during meetings. It's not on today's agenda, so we're not gonna allow public comment tonight. But if the board so wishes to do so in the future, we can allow public comment. I would strongly recommend that we do that. I think it's a good idea. But I also know that with time constraints, we should limit that. The school department has a nice policy. We were able to obtain a copy of that to use as a template if the board wants to initiate public comment during its meetings. We can follow the school department's lead. I think they allow 3 minutes for a speaker. They allow 15 or 20 minutes at the beginning of each meeting. We could start with 2 minutes and maybe 10 minutes total, or any combination thereof. But that policy is in your packet. It's on page 16. And I thought it was very well written. So we would like to see this move forward.
Couldn't agree more.
I completely agree also. I think this is long overdue.
Jen?
Sure.
Sorry.
Okay, well, how do we want to do it?
Why recreate the wheel? I say we just do what school already has in place.
Well, anybody before I offer mine? Okay. I'm suggesting that we limit the time to 2 minutes apiece for each person, and we limit it to 10 minutes. And the reason for that is our agendas are incredibly packed. I absolutely agree that we should be doing public comment. Was public comment ever done at Select Board before?
In all the years that I've been working for the town, I don't ever remember it being part of an agenda.
Okay.
I think sometimes people in the audience start talking, and it's up to the chair whether or not they want to allow them to continue talking, or, last night at the meeting, somebody had asked about the gavel that's in the select board's private meeting room and whether it was ever used. And yes, there was a time where the gavel would have been on the table, and people,
It was not that long ago.
yeah, people would have been shut down if they talked out of turn
Yeah,
without being recognized. So, things have certainly changed for the better.
yeah.
And I think this is a step that should be taken to, continue with that dialogue and transparency that we all strive for.
I think this board all feels strongly that that is a component that we should allow. I also want to make sure that we don't spend every meeting here until late. I want to make sure that if there are, that we have enough time for different people to be heard. 5 people at 2 minutes each gives 10 minutes for public comment, considering that this is brand new for this community. It's a start. My suggestion is that we see how it goes, and If we want to make any changes to that, we can revisit it next year.
May I push back on that a little?
Yeah.
So how I would push back is just from my observations and seeing it in practice at the school committee meetings, rarely does it actually last the 15 minutes. It's just there and available.
Mhm.
I often think I see that the chair will then say, is there anyone else who's not on the sign-up sheet that would like to comment? And usually, except for during major important times like the override, is that happening?
Yeah.
It's nice that there's already a policy in place, so we don't have to create something new. And then I'm also thinking tonight as an example, obviously there were a lot of people who wanted to contribute to the conversation. I almost called out of order because I felt that we were very out of order. This could have been an opportunity to say at the beginning of the meeting, this is an opportunity for public comment, and then it would have been, you have had your opportunity.
I actually invited that conversation.
But you would have done that in public comment, and I actually think that that was longer than 15 minutes. So my thought is that I actually think this is a really structured way to give that space.
Mhm.
And I think 15 is appropriate, but if everyone else agrees on 10, of course, I'll do what the board wants to do.
What does everybody else think?
I think we just stick with the 15. You can always, writing in the chair reserves the right to shut it down. I think there's a comment here anyways.
That's for non-protected speech, though.
Non-protected speech.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you let the citizens speak. They're taxpayers, they're voting citizens, we gotta hear them out.
Mhm.
I think at the end of the right of free speech, the First Amendment right, we should let them, we had 100 people here, I read that it sucks, but they have the right to speak. That's
I
my
think we're
opinion.
all in agreement with that, right? But
I would just also add in addition, just so people are aware that they can reach out to any one of us. All our contact information is available on the website. So, in addition to this as an additional opportunity for folks to be heard, they always can reach us if need be.
Great point.
Nicole?
If we're talking about number of minutes, I'm good with whatever the board decides. I mean, obviously, I support this wholeheartedly. As far as the times on it go, it's fine, whichever way the board wants.
Okay. The other recommendation I would make is that we only meet twice a month. As such, I would limit it to one meeting a month where we invite public comment, so that the other meeting, we just focus on the work.
Yeah, I don't agree with that because I think that people have schedules. They might not be able to, I would keep it open to all meetings, special and regular.
We should stay consistent.
Yeah.
I think if we stay consistent, even with this policy, we match the school committee, so it's consistent townwide. I think we should all be on the same page. It should be for every committee moving forward, not just us.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that public comment should be for every committee.
Okay.
Can I just add that you took comments tonight, and now you're not allowing comments,
No.
and now you're not allowing comments.
Yes.
No, that's not.
You took comments tonight on a number of issues.
I'm
I have a right to
sorry.
speak. I have free speech in this country, and I'm a citizen who pays taxes.
I know, and we are deliberating on this matter right now.
Right, and
So
I'm
let
offering
us
you some
deliberate.
feedback.
Thanks. After the meeting, I'm happy to listen. Okay.
Nicole, can you stop sharing your screen so I can get that?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
So do I hear a motion?
I move that we allow public comment at regular and special select board meetings.
Anything else?
Oh, I'm sorry. And that we mirror the guidelines that have been implemented by the school department.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So we now have public comment.
Someplace see it ending.
Uh-oh. Nicole,
Oh
did you close
was
the
she the
meeting?
host?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh no.
I thought Steve was the
I told you to
host.
stop sharing, not to close the meeting down.
All right, give me a minute.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
We'll get it
Oh,
back.
you're gonna make the paper.
Just kidding. It's
I
okay.
was the only person in controlling the
No, no,
meeting.
So remember when we were trying to get
Oh,
you
We'll
to
be right
share?
back.
It's fine. It's not a big deal. We'll figure it out.
You can tell everybody it was me.
No, it happens. I'm glad it happened to you and not me. Thanks, Brian.
Yes, thank you.
This conference will now be recorded.
They're in contract negotiations.
I don't know who was logged on. They're all gone now.
They're probably like, whatever. It's a long night.
Okay, are we on?
Yeah, we're back on. People,
Okay, I apologize for that technical issue. We are now back. And the next item is E.
5B, discussion of public comment period. Yes.
See that?
5E is a discussion item to talk about allowing food truck vendors access to public space outside of town-sponsored events. Currently, we have no policy or guidelines to govern that. When we have food trucks come to Belchertown, it's during a sponsored event or a private event. Like our local brewery will often have a food truck set up, but that's on private property. We have food trucks that set up at various retail establishments around town on private property. The only time a food truck is on public property would be an event. And there's several of them a year. There's the Food Truck Fridays, the various events that Boat puts on, different things. There'll be, I'm sure, food trucks tomorrow at the first National Night Out. This is a request specifically to set up barbecue in the town parking lot during the weekdays for lunch, possibly dinner. While I want to support these types of activities, I have a little bit of reservation about that because it's going to be competition for our restaurants. Those restaurants pay meals taxes. I don't think these food trucks are paying those meal taxes in the same manner. So while I think it would be nice to have these establishments set up from time to time, I don't think it's a good idea. If the select board wants to pursue this, I think we need to have a clear set of guidelines, hours of operation, that they have to be registered. They have to follow all of the proper procedures that are in place to operate a food truck per health codes, fire codes, insurance requirements. So we can set up a policy if you want, or we can just say we're not going to allow it. And if we do allow it, we should also charge a fee, maybe $25 per event. If we want to do a season type licensing, we could do a couple $100. So I guess it's up to the board. What are your thoughts on it? And
Restaurants pay a year for permits. Do you know that answer off the top of your head?
For the Board of Health permit,
Whatever to
it's
run a
$50 a year,
Wow.
and you can set up anytime you want. I agree. We need a policy and a place, and yes, some guidelines. I'm in favor of doing it and setting it up, and I think we need to think about and come up with a bunch of rules and regs. And
Isn't that what we set as a goal around pop-ups?
so the local rapid recovery, that was one of the recommendations, was to create a designated space for food trucks to go to on a regular basis. So but one request, and we need to think about it. We can't just slide them and say yes, right?
well, that's yes, I
Yes.
agree, because if we just say, yeah, you know, we want to have you set up, we want to support your business.
Right.
10 more are going to come into town and say, well, we want to do the same thing.
Right, which would be great problem
But
to
that's-
have if we're charging for them to come here and our vendor.
This is all under what we're talking about around
It's economic
pop-ups.
development, yeah.
So it is, I think it's something that we have to set the guidelines for first, so that it doesn't reek of favoritism or,
Yeah.
you know, we do one thing for one vendor and another for another. But I think that it's something we do need to pursue, but not without guidelines in place before we do it. That's part of the economic development plan.
Well, I think when we talk about pop-ups, there's a lot of different categories on what would be included under a pop-up. So if we want to include food trucks, then,
That's all up for discussion.
right, you know, I think we'd have to take them one at a time. So if the board wants me to pursue food trucks as part of that goal, I can prepare a draft set of regulations, and we can revisit it at another meeting.
And there are plenty of communities that have these food trucks. You know, I mean, Amherst has a setup. I think Northampton has a setup.
Chicopee
East
has,
Hampton.
Chicopee has
Chicopee.
one, Holyoke has one.
Yeah. So there's plenty of examples.
Mhm.
Any thoughts?
Some of it I go back to the businesses that are well established in this town, and that was one of our goals, take care of the businesses we have. And
Absolutely.
I do feel just the impact of those businesses at the same time. If they're going through all this stuff to make Board of Health requirements, these food trucks need to go through the
Oh, yeah.
same stuff
Facts.
that all these other restaurants have gone through. And the meals tax, we have to figure some of that stuff out too, how we get that revenue.
So
Because
we
they can't
don't,
just come in and not get revenue, because
Well, I
so
mean,
they would pay, so do we have local meals tax for in addition to the state meals tax?
I'll have to look into
Some
how that works.
communities charge an additional meals
I
tax.
thought we did.
I don't know the answer, so.
Yeah. I'm pretty
But
sure we do.
We also said as part of the, that like the first thing we would address is to make sure that our businesses that are currently here are well taken care of. We came up with the 3 different action items underneath that. So, yes, absolutely, we want to support the businesses that have already invested in Belchertown. We also want to look at creating the structure and the policies that would welcome other entrepreneurs to participate in commerce, so that we're offering that much more to our residents. So I think it's cart before
Right.
horse.
And I would also just to like, because I've been involved with doing the food truck Fridays before, the food trucks won't come if they can't make money.
Right.
So they're not gonna pull from, unless there's like a mass of them, they're not gonna pull greatly from, you know, the few that have popped up around town. They're only making it more attractive for a business and a restaurant to be like, oh, Belchertown likes to eat such and such a meal, whatever, and like I should locate. And sometimes the trucks are doing it because they don't have a retail location, and they might turn into one. So, you know, I know it sounds scary, like it's gonna really like impact our local restaurants, but in most cases it really doesn't.
And we do have trucks that are
doing
here.
it, yeah.
I can't think of the names. Rooster, the taco guy.
Yeah.
The roaming chicken?
Which one?
The roaming chicken?
Rooster.
Yeah.
Roaming rooster?
Yeah, yeah. You know, I don't know how that came to pass, or, you know, what.
They set up on private property.
It's all on private
And-
property, so
Okay.
Yes.
what I will say is Chicopee has I think it's a municipality operated park that they have, it's like a lot that they designated as for this purpose, so we could look at what they're doing.
Yeah.
As like an example.
So,
There's other models, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
in terms of this request, do I hear a motion on this?
I make a motion to say no. At this time, until we have further guidelines in place.
On food trucks in general?
In general.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Was that a motion?
Yes.
Could it be a soft no? Can we edit it to be like, it's a no, but we're working on it? I mean, I guess that's what you said, yeah. Can you restate it? I'm sorry, it's late.
That's why I wanted you to add a little more to it.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we don't allow the request to use public space for food trucks at this time, food vendors at this time, until we have a firm policy in place.
I can second that.
For food trucks and pop-ups in general. Can I add that
You
amendment?
wanna add food trucks and pop-ups in general?
Can we,
Working on pop-up ordinance.
well, we haven't even begun on the pop-ups. Food trucks are, I've already started to do some research on what other towns are doing. Knowing that the cart was in front of the horse, the request just simply brought it to our attention that when a request comes into my office that is policy-driven, it goes to the select board.
Of course.
That's why I made the recommendation that at this point, we think about it. I like the idea, I just don't think it's time to implement it. So,
I think that's what
and that's what John's saying,
yeah.
yes.
So,
yeah.
I think the motion still stands unless there's no second.
I did second it.
Oh, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
All right, so we were up to 5F, tax work-off program. Yes, so the final tax work-off program was in your packet. There are two, begins on page 38. There were two questions that we needed to answer. I alluded to these at a previous meeting. Both are very minor issues. As I stated earlier, we advertised, did a press release. It's on the website, Facebook pages. We've really put this out there. We've been getting applications. So that's the good news. What we need to determine is, in regards to proxies, do we want to restrict proxies to family members, other property owners, within this, or people that reside in the same household? Or do we want to leave it
That's right.
unrestricted? That's one question. The second question is, if we have multiple people applying from the same household, the same property, do we want to allow multiple people to work to reduce their tax bill? Right now, we're limiting the total amount earned to $1,000. So, for example, if a husband and wife or a couple wanted to work, are we going to allow them to work towards a $2,000 total, or are we going to limit it to one person per household? So those are the two questions. Nothing that significantly
Recommendations on
changes.
that?
Recommendation for two. I know with the veterans, and they do like the veteran clause, JI and stuff, it's only
Yeah.
one per household. So if you have two veterans in your house, you only get one veteran discount. That's what the state sets up for, so if the discount's $1,000, if we were both disabled, you don't get $2,000, you only get $1,000, that's it, one per household. That would be my recommendation, one discount per household.
Steve, are you of that same mind?
Yeah, I don't have an issue saying we can wait list people. We agreed that we'd only allow a total of 10 participants. So I think if we don't have 10 participants and we have 2 people that want to work, then maybe we would consider it. So that would be a little bit of a modification, but I think we need to spread this out
Yeah.
first. That would be my first recommendation.
And what about proxies?
So with proxies, I do think we need to keep that closer to home. They should be a family member or somebody with some connection to the property.
we say immediate family members or someone residing in the same address?
Mm-hmm.
Would that solve that problem? Because that would be the same, almost sort of like the same thing for state veteran, you have to live in that address to get the veteran discount. Like if you're a disabled veteran, you have to be physically in that address, that's your home of record.
Yeah, but for a lot of seniors, think about who they're living with. They're either living with their spouse or by themselves, usually. So I feel like
Or
you're,
with family members, and that's my household.
that's why I said
Mhm.
usually.
Okay.
Usually they're living by themselves or with a spouse, and so I think you're really putting a restriction on that by saying they have to be in the household.
Well, I think if we opened it up to family members, they wouldn't have to be in the same household. Yeah.
Could be a caretaker, so, my thought is if your address is there, if you were my caretaker, you could go work it off for me, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But you did say immediate family
Or
member,
immediate-
that's
or
what
immediate family
confused me
member,
because.
That's another option, so the immediate family member could live in a different house, and then give the credit to that person. Like a son, daughter.
Also, I guess I misunderstood the term proxy. So proxy meant that person's doing the work, not receiving the benefit.
Right. So if we limit it to the property owners only, then that is a very narrow,
The property owners what?
if we only allow the property owners to be proxies, like a co-owner,
Okay.
that would be a very narrow path, so I don't agree with that. I think family members make sense. People that reside in the same household, even if they're not a family member, I think makes sense. So I think those would be the restrictions, a family member or a household member, even if they're not related.
And they have to reside at the house?
A household, not the family member.
Okay.
You know, it could be a grandson or, you know, a sibling or whatever. Yep. So I would say we open it up to family members and other
Household people.
household residents.
But remind me, there's only a limit of 10 of these?
10 total,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do we think that we'll need to open it up? You said you already have some applicants.
Well, I don't know what the applicants are. I don't know what the condition of the applicants are, if they are able to work or not, or if they're expecting a proxy. Again, it didn't delay the process. It's just something we needed to answer before we start telling people they have a job or not.
And this is the first year of the rollout. As I remember, we had said we would take a more conservative, see how the
Mhm.
program is working, see if we have more of a demand, and then revisit it again next year.
Yeah, and this is an abbreviated year.
Yes.
Because realistically, we should have been starting this process at the beginning of the calendar year.
Sure.
But May was town meeting, so we're trying to jam everything in quickly.
Will
Because-
seniors working on their own behalf be given priority? I don't know.
Well,
Let's say if all of a sudden now you have 100 applicants tomorrow
Mhm.
because the grandsons are coming and helping out.
I don't think I would want to give priority to people who are working themselves, because I think that we need to allow equal access to the program. So in a sense, we're saying if you're disabled and can't work, then we're not going to allow you. That's why we're allowing proxies in the first place. So I do think we need to just,
And not only that, we're trying to also match people with the job that is best suited for them. So I mean, it gives us a wider net to cast, because different people,
Mhm.
proxies versus residents, are going to have different capabilities. So I think it's actually a good thing to not prioritize.
Interesting.
Jen?
All good points.
Okay.
I'm just curious, did the schools come forward with any volunteer opportunities?
yes, they have some.
That's great.
Mhm.
So we have two issues at hand. One is the use of proxies. Do we take these separately? Steve?
You can do it any way you want. It might be simpler if you take them separately, just so you can keep track of the motions.
Okay. So on the issue of proxies for the tax write-off program for seniors, do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we allow the use of proxies if they're family members or someone resides in the same household.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, so,
We got the second one too.
excuse me?
The second one too. There's two.
Does the board wish to
There was-
restrict the access to the program to an individual property owner or allow
Oh, yeah,
multiple
that's right.
owners?
Okay, so on the issue of, how do we word this?
Make a motion that
Yes.
we only accept, what is it?
An application.
One
for
application per household,
Okay,
Per property
per
owner?
property, the tax bill.
so it would not exceed $1,000 per household. All right, want to try that again?
I'll make a motion that we only accept one application per a tax bill, not to exceed $1,000.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
A discussion.
Oh, discussion?
Sorry, I just wanted to
Yeah.
make a point that I just thought about. What if a couple would like to divide the hours and work together toward their $1,000 benefit? Because it's about 66 hours at $15
That
an
would be the
hour.
proxy, they would,
That's allowable, yeah.
Yeah.
that would be like the proxy.
So it'd be one head of household applying, but their partner could be a proxy and they could both work toward the 66-hour goal?
We would allow that, yeah.
Okay.
But
I just
not,
wanted-
but they can't exceed the 66,
Is
whatever.
that's
hours.
actually a lot of hours when you think about,
For some people, yeah.
Yeah, that could be a lot of hours.
Well, we tried to increase the amount, and that was what was voted on at town meeting. It was
Mhm.
$20 an hour, but the
State law.
The state law
No, that's fine.
dictates the amount.
I was just thinking somebody might think, well, I can't do 66, but if he helps me out, we can
Mhm.
do 66 together. So it sounds like that's in place, that they'd be able to apply for someone to be their proxy and that they
Yeah,
will
they'd
be
fall
able
under
to
the
apply.
proxy.
Does
Okay.
that need to be a part of the motion?
It's part of the proxy process.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
Good one, Albert.
all right. Do we need to say the motion again?
No.
No.
Discussion.
That's just
All right, so all in favor? Aye. Okay, 5-0. Excellent.
Okay, 5G, moving right along.
Yes.
Endorsed purchase and sales agreement for Franklin School. As the board knows, on June 16th, we received 3 bids for the sale of the former Franklin School. Robert Molesky was the high bidder at $150,300. His bid was complete. It met all the requirements. And since that time, town council and Mr. Molesky's attorneys have been working on finalizing the purchase and sale agreement. We don't have a closing set yet, but it'll be very soon. So tonight's task is to accept and sign the purchase and sale agreement.
I move that we approve the purchase and sale agreement between the town of Belchertown and Robert Molesky in the amount of $150,300 for the purchase of the former Franklin School at 720 Franklin Street.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Town managers report.
Yeah, here we go. Let's see, warrants. I did reach out to Representative Saunders' office. They are more than willing to come in to meet with the select board. They asked if we could come up with some discussion topics or some questions that you would like answered. So I'd like the board to be thinking about that, and if you could just email
Health
me.
insurance.
Yeah.
We've got a topic.
So if you can just email me,
Okay, but I'm saying publicly, health insurance.
yeah, I'm sure.
Okay,
And I will get those over to them, and then we'll set up a date to get them in. I've been working with, just about everybody, the town planner, Jen. We were able to determine that the legislative earmark that was provided for economic development 5 years ago, that we can use it for the purchase of the wayfinding signs.
okay.
So we are working on that. Sports Haven, The contract documents have been executed. Baltazar's Construction will be doing the infrastructure project for the water line. We had a pre-construction meeting on the 1st, and we're waiting to hear a schedule for them to get started, but they said they will be putting shovels in the ground this season. So stay tuned. I'm hoping that we're gonna have a ceremonial groundbreaking at some point. I think, that's been a huge project.
Let us know when that is.
Will do. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff on here for Group Insurance Trust. Let's see here. I did have a meeting with the Collins Center. They're the ones working on the Human Services study. There is a survey on our website. It's going to close August 15th. We've had over 300 responses so far, so it's been very well received by the community. I did attend a tour of Cold Spring School with Superintendent Cameron, talking about the future of the building. I've been meeting with the Communications Committee about artificial intelligence usage and policy development. Town Council is working on a template for communities to use for a policy, so we should have that in another week or two, and then I think we'll be hitting the ground running. That's a very complicated technology. It's not as simple as it sounds. Very useful, but it's complicated on how it's rolled out and the liability behind it.
And do we have a new administrative assistant?
Yes, she started today.
She did, yay, that's what I heard.
Abby is here. I hope she comes back tomorrow. It was a lot of training today, so a lot of just updating.
Should we all try to stop by and say hello?
Sure. Yep. Next meetings.
What's her first name?
Abby.
Abby.
Yeah. The next meeting on August 18th, as of today, we tentatively, and we're waiting for the Board of Assessors to come up with a recommendation, but we have a vacancy on our Board of Assessors. That's an elected position. They are trying to find somebody who will step into that position. If they do, we need to have a joint committee, joint board meeting, and make an appointment until the next election. So that's been on the agenda now for a couple of weeks, and it's just been rolling over until we find somebody. So if you know anybody that wants to get involved in politics and they want to be on the Board of Assessors, we can certainly put them there.
Okay.
Linda will be here to talk about the complete streets policy and the pocket park and the next steps in the evolution of that site. We have the Corey Sorry policy that we can certainly move down the road if we need to.
Move that down the road.
We need to appoint a member, a select board member to the Willard Stebbins Trust Fund. That's a quick thing,
Okay.
so we should get that out of the way. The mileage reimbursement policy needs to be updated. We have employees that are using their personal vehicles and they're not earning the federal rate.
Okay.
The gold cane policy has been on the agenda. That's up to you.
Can we move that one as well?
Yep. We have the code of conduct, which we can talk later, see when it gets closer.
Let's talk later.
And then we have a request from our fire department, Firefighters Association, to not only participate in the parade, but to solicit donations on the town common. So that is time sensitive because of the fair. We also have an executive session to talk about real estate, specifically 6-8 Berkshire Ave in Tadgell. On September 2nd, we have tentatively scheduled Joe Shea to come in from the Group Insurance Trust. We may or may not take up the topic of special municipal employee designation. We can talk about that more. Tentatively, we may be talking about the EDIC and updates with the Memorandum of Understanding with Mass Development. That may be an executive session, I don't know.
May I ask a point of clarification? Are they going to attend one of our upcoming meetings? I know they're not really full.
The EDIC? Yeah, we can have them come in on this one, just do a chat if you want to.
It's up to the chair, that'd be nice.
Potentially the legislative visit. We still want to, at some point, revisit employee and volunteer awards. And we need to find time to schedule a DLS presentation of the 2025 financial audit, but I think I heard tonight we want to push that off till towards the end of September. So,
We have a lot to accomplish.
and on the 18th, we have to finish goals and objectives, so yes, we do have a lot going on, including a tri-board meeting on September 8th and another one to be determined. So that's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Steve. That's great. Okay, I just want to stop and say, I appreciate everything you're doing, and the fact that we went through the goals piece and we were, putting lines through because they've already been accomplished just speaks volumes. Like, we're really moving the town forward under your guidance, so.
I think it says a lot too that we've been here now going on 8 hours between yesterday and today, and we have yet to raise our voices at each other, and we're still all getting along. So I think
We're gonna sing Kumbaya. Yes.
I wouldn't go that far, but
Okay, review of weekly mail.
So we actually have something that we were asked to respond to. So this is an email from the DAR, which is Daughters of the American Revolution. They are looking for
They want to,
a
yeah.
Do you wanna do it?
proclamation. Excuse me?
Do you want to do it?
No, I mean, I
Okay.
got the letter, but it's for all
Right,
of us
but
to make the
there's-
decision, yeah.
Yeah, I know, we've got people listening too. They want a proclamation, on September 17th to recognize the signing of the US Constitution on September 17th, 1787, and there'll be a corresponding ceremony with that. So we have a document here that would need to be signed by you, one of us, if we accept the proclamation.
Just for clarification, do they want us to physically attend something?
Well, it doesn't say, but I mean,
I think they just wanted you to accept the proclamation. The question for tonight is, do we want to put this on the agenda for the 18th, or just tell them we're not interested?
Well, it's like almost done. What I did is I read the proclamation. There's nothing controversial in it. And I did do some research on the group, and there's very little controversial items that came up. And it's about supporting the Constitution and when it was signed. I don't have a problem with it. But do you want to look at this, and do you have a problem with it?
no, not at all. It's a very
Do you wanna look at
respected
this?
group.
Yeah.
I don't think we can discuss it, can we? It's not on the agenda, it's just, can we?
Well, I want to know if it's okay if I sign this and we,
Oh, that's a fair point. If Lisa just responds, we don't have to have it on the agenda, do we?
Well, would have
it's
to
a
be a
board
vote
decision.
of the
Yeah.
select board.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, do you want me to read this?
No, I
No.
read it. I think
Okay.
we all read it.
So, do I hear a motion?
We can't vote on it, it's not on the agenda.
Excuse me?
It's not on the agenda, we can't vote on it.
Yeah, it's not till September, so we can put it on the 18th for
Oh,
a
okay.
vote.
We
Yeah.
can't do that tonight?
We probably shouldn't.
So it sounds
Okay.
like tonight is more just about asking you to place
Well,
it
how
on
about
the
if I did-
agenda.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I respond and say,
Yeah, we can tell them it's on the 18th, and we're going to vote on it that
Okay.
night. Yeah,
all
yeah.
right, so are you okay if I at least respond to them?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Anybody else have anything with mail?
I think it made it in there. I had requested to send, the Clap Memorial Library did their fiscal 25 statistics for the year.
Yeah.
Did you all see that? Can I just toss out 4 quick highlights or 5 quick highlights? I just wanted to share that their total library visits went up from the previous fiscal year by about 4,000 visitors. Their items circulated for adults went up by 30,000 items to 106,000 items. Their teen section went up by 1,700, which is a massive improvement, and their total programs were 646, with total attendance of 12,000 people.
Yeah, so I had those written down as well, but I
Isn't that
also think,
amazing?
yeah, I think it's amazing, and also that the total visits,
It's incredible.
what it was though and what it is 74,723, and it went up to 78,571. So they are doing incredible work over at Clap Memorial Library. We are lucky to have them. They are definitely, one of the hearts in our community. And they went up, even in programming, went up from 629 to 646. Do we want to send a
Congratulatory.
a letter saying how impressed we are with the stats and from the select board?
Yep.
Is that something I can ask you to put together?
I don't know how slammed our communications manager is, but would that be something that the library would highlight, or is that something that we would want to boast from the town and be like, look how great our library is?
Oh, the stats, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's really impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like this is one, if the board is agreeable, that, that we go in and sign the letter.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. Is that okay, Steve? Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Not from me.
I have two. The outgoing mail, the letter from the Chief Ingram, the letter wasn't dated, and it feels like, because of the nature of the letter, we should have a date on the letter.
I don't have the letter in front of me. It's just,
Yeah.
it was missing the date. Okay.
Yeah, because it's talking about this increase to be effective now.
It says, so there's a date on the letter and there's an effective date on the increase.
The chief's letter didn't have a date.
Yeah, it was retroed back to the beginning of his contract.
Okay,
His contract, I think, ran May 1st instead of July 1st or something.
okay, all right. And the other one is the Cutchins program. I like that that there was a response to Ms. Champagne's original letter. What I would like is if we could do a check-in in 60 days, basically how are we doing, to close that loop, make sure that things are working in a way that's going to be mindful of the programs that they offer there.
Okay.
Okay, individual board members' reports. Whitney?
Mine's really fast. On July 23rd, I attended the Age and Dementia Friendly Committee meeting, and they talked about a few things that are going on, including they have in the works, I don't know when it will be ready, but a memory cafe is in the works. They're working through some grant funding for that. And they're waiting to hear about some additional benches from the grants that established some of those first benches. So there should be some more coming. July 29th, I attended the school committee meeting, and they went over enrollment projections for the anticipated class sizes over the next 15 years. I think that's right. Nicole and Steve were in attendance also. And then they went over the superintendent's goals for the year. And then attended the special select board meeting last night. That's it.
Okay, great. John?
I don't got much. I was away. I attended not the fair committee because that wasn't posted, so I had to couldn't vote on anything. So I had to cancel it all. They still met, but didn't vote on anything. I attended the farmers market, and I met with the veterans agent trying to work out maybe a float for the veterans or a dinner still. We're trying to organize some of that stuff.
That'd be great.
So besides that, I was away on vacation and back here.
Okay, great. Well, welcome back. Nicole?
So because I did not attend last meeting, I do have a couple more. So July 9th, attended the joint leadership meeting with FinCom and schools. July 15th, communications committee meeting. July 16th, capital planning meeting and EDIC. July 23rd, council on aging. I love them.
Aren't
I
they
just
great?
love them. They're just so sweet. July 29th, school committee. Now, I don't know if you mentioned it, but they did, just so you're all aware, they did table the discussion regarding feasibility options for school consolidation, strictly because they had 2 members that were missing that night, and Heidi just wanted to make sure that that was a vote that they were all included on. So. July 30th, I attended the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust IAC meeting regarding the health insurance premium increases, and then August 1st, I debriefed with our HR director and town manager on that meeting. And that's it.
Thanks, Nicole. Jen?
I went to a bunch of meetings, not last week, because I was on vacation last week. I went to Historic Commission. I went to the Lake Wallace Fall Festival planning meeting, which is ongoing, which is very exciting.
Is that through Creative Economy or a different committee?
It's a collaboration between the rec and the Lake Wallace Trail people and Creative Economy. So they're doing their thing. I did more stuff. What else did I do? We met. I wanted to say, we're meeting this week on Wednesday with the implementation matrix consultant again. He's back from paternity. We lost some work when the grants manager left, so the interns were working on some of that stuff. So stay tuned on that project. That's ongoing.
That's great. Welcome back from vacation. Okay. Questions from the press?
Not on.
Hearing none. We're going to move into executive session.
I make a motion that we enter into executive session, not to return to open session. Do I have to read that, Steve?
Yes.
Yes, please.
MGL Chapter 30A, Section 22(1), Subsection 3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation of if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares, in reference to National Prescription Opiate Litigation, U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Ohio, Eastern Division, case number 17, MD 2804, Honorable Dan Aaron Holster, and subsection 7 to comply with or act under the authority of any general or special law or federal grant and aid requirements, approval of 2 sets of executive session minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
So I think we do roll call.
Yep.
Whitney?
Aye.
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Nicole? Aye.